Good evening and welcome to Rebels Radio latest broadcast. I'm live from Butlin Road Rugby. I'm joined by Liam, an ex-rugby man. Say hello, Liam. How are you?
How are you? Very well. You?
Yeah. What's your background? Why am I next to you?
Well, basically, I'm a rugby lad, and obviously I used to play for them when I was, quite a while ago now. It's probably about 16, 17 years ago when I'd come out of the full-time game. And it's a club that's very close to my heart. Obviously been here as a player, and now I'm assistant manager at Leamington in the Conference North. So it's just an impartial view that I'll be giving tonight for sure.
Brilliant. Well, let me just go through some of the formalities as normal. If this is the first time you've joined us at Rebels Radio, you can contact us at MyFC Rebels Radio. We'll be keeping an eye on Twitter. You can go onto the MyFC chat room. If you're rugby fans, welcome. Join. More the merrier. Everyone here to anticipate this exciting semi-final of this Calor League Central Division 1 with the final to be played on Monday for the winners of Kettering versus Daventry. We're at Butlin Road. For those of you who haven't been here, it's one of the best stadiums, if not by far and away the best stadium in the league. It's a fully up to conference standard, I believe. Is that right, Liam?
I think it's even league standard. Yeah, it's a fantastic setting. It's a lovely night. Perfect conditions. Pitch is a little bit bumpy. I don't know how that's going to play, but it could do with a drop of rain, to be honest with you. But fantastic setup, yeah.
I'll just take you through the teams. Let's start off with the home team of Rugby Town, who will be wearing sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks. In goal, number 1, Niall Cooper. Number 2, Ellis Miles. 3, Nathan Fox. 4, Nathan Haynes. 5, and captain Alex Gudger. 6, Aaron King. 7, Jamie Towers. 8, Richard Blythe. 9, David Kolodinsky. 10, Seb Black-Gaskin, and 11, Justin Marsden. And on the bench, returning Greg Casaboni after his suspension. Some new faces. We've got Mitchell Williams, Mitch Piggin coming back, Steve Palmer, and Guy Hadland. And now with the Rebels, who will be dressed all in their purple kit. In goal, number 1, Jake Somerville. 2, Sean Fraser. 3, Ryan Parsons. 4, Guy Hollis. 5, Dave Woosley, he's the captain. 6, George Shaw. 7, Johnny Dyer. 8, James McClurg. 9, Ed Smith. 10, Warren Harris, and 11, James Dobson. And on the bench for them is number 12, Dan Simpson, 14, Ben Edwards, 15, Jake Parsons, 16, Steve Duss, and 17, Adam Cornell. And the referee, all from the Leicester sort of area, we've got Jeff Law and Matt Law. I'm not sure if they're related in any way. Do you know? Have you ever heard
of it? Got a clue? No, I don't think we've had these ones this year, but it looks like, like father and son maybe.
Maybe. Ryan Mahoney. And then we have a fourth official because of the importance of the game, and that's Ben Cook. We can see the players on the far side to us near the main stand, which is adorned with the VS signifying Valley Sports. I understand the old version of the rugby club. The players are just going through the handshakes. Rugby have lined up in the right half of the pitch as we look at it, with Slough in the left half, and the final handshake is just going on. We're about to get underway. Are you excited about this game?
I am. Yeah, really look forward to it. I'm just looking at some of the form, and Rugby in very good form at the moment. Slough probably not in the best of form, but as I said to you earlier, John, this is a cup game. It's you've got to treat it as a cup game. It's a one-off, and it's no bigger the prize than getting into the playoff on Bank Holiday Monday.
Yeah, I think as a player, these are the days you look forward to. I mean, obviously, you feel a little bit for Rugby finishing second again in the league and not getting an automatic promotion, but everyone knows that at the start of the season.
They do, yeah. I mean, I think Rugby have got to be kicking themselves. I mean, to be honest with you, they've led the table for since Christmas, quite in recent weeks especially, and then they just had that drop of form. I think they won in probably 7 games during a bit of a sloppy run from their standards, but they're on a good run of form now, and I know I'd rather be in a good run of form going into a playoff than a bang average form.
Yeah, and just recently these two teams met 2 weeks ago at Beaconsfield. Rugby completely dominated that day, so I'm not sure how much that will affect Slough and their mindset, and also Rugby, that give them that a little bit of extra confidence. They won 2-1, and it should have really been a lot more than 2-1, but yeah. How much do you think that will affect the players?
I don't really think that's going to affect the players at all, to be honest with you, because I mean, the Slough boys have been here at the start of the season and they've won comfortably. I remember coming to the game at the end of last season, they won comfortably. I think it was 3 or 4-0 they won here in the league last season towards the end of the season. And I think it's just going to be a case of how fired up the players are. It's a one-off game, as I said to you, John. It's a one-off game, and I'm sure both sets of teams will be absolutely up for it, irrespective of current form. And
let's hope that we can keep 22 players on the pitch for this occurrence after the last few visits and play matches between the teams. There's always ended either 20, 21. There hasn't ever been a full complement. The referee's finished his pre-match officiating that he needs to do. He's just writing down all the different things. It looks like Rugby are going into a short huddle to our right. the stand on the opposite side is a little bit odd in that it's quite short. It's a very big stand. I understand it's got lots of Premiership facilities or ex-Premiership facilities like Main Road showers and Filbert Street dugouts and all these sorts of things. But it's kind of, how would you describe it? Slightly off centre.
It's offset onto the right hand side, and obviously the players are coming out the middle of the tunnel there when they came out. The facilities here, like I said, are second to none at this standard, and probably 3 or 4 standards above as well, with plenty of room to develop as well. So I mean, depending on how far they get rugby, I mean, there's always room to develop here, and it's as I said earlier, it's a fantastic setting.
We hope you're all sitting comfortably and ready to go, because I think this is going to be pretty frantic from the off. And if we miss things, apologies. We can do the best we can do. This is non-league standard as always. Liam's very kindly volunteered to come in and support me here, and I'm really looking forward to getting his insight and expertise. Rugby about to take it as the Slough fans have made their way behind in the open large stand behind our, but to the right behind Cooper's goal. They've started to make their voice heard. There's a reasonable number travelled.
Yeah, great away support. I'd say there's probably 100, 120, 130 plus there behind the goal. Look forward to a great game.
And immediately the kickoff goes down into the deep left-hand corner for Rugby attacking, and the clearance from Hollis doesn't get very far. The ball's just being played around, and off Blythe it goes, returns to Ed Smith. Ed Smith now forward to George Short. George Short clicks the ball forward, but Haynes immediately onto that, and now Blythe hooks the ball forward, and Kolodinsky's interested. Great first touch, but nicked off his feet and conceded a first corner, I think, of the game by Hollis. That's going to be a key battle, I think.
Very keen.
The two forwards for Rugby are absolutely hot at the moment.
Yeah, and Blake Gaskin and Kolodinsky, I think one's got 39 in all competitions and the other one's got 25, so I mean it's the centre halves are going to have the work cut out here.
Yeah, and Rugby aren't too shabby at the back either, having kept 4 clean sheets in the last 6, I think, and I think Blake Gaskin's in a great run of form. I think he scored 4 in 4 consecutive games, and obviously Kolodinsky scored 4 alone in the game on Saturday, and I think he scored something like 5 in his last 3, so I think if Slough can mute that threat, they may be able, that might be the key for them.
I think we're talking about confidence earlier. I think if you need confidence, you just look at those 2 goal scorers for Rugby. They will be banging form, and the bags of confidence you can tell from the off already.
Alex King on the far left-hand corner for Slough, just letting the ball go through to Fox, and tries to get a cross in, but well blocked by the fullback Fraser. Rugby asserting earlier pressure here. And they're looking to maybe do a short corner now, but Fox decides better against that, and he's going to left-foot outswinger. The big guys from the back, Gudger and Haynes, go forward. Plenty of movement in the box. Ball delivered in towards the near post, bounced all the way through without anyone getting on the end of it, and Dobson and King are after it on the far side, and King plays it off Dobson, wins the throw, and the referee's just asking for another ball. That's the first one out of the ground. Is there a ball out of the ground issue here? No more so than most other places.
Yeah, probably not so much at this ground. But as I say, that started there with a Rugby style of play there. They've just lovely little channel ball over, and then there was a couple of corners that came in. But it's really what Slough need to do here. They just need to sort of maintain the tempo that they're playing at, and just try and get the ball into Rugby's half for 10 minutes, and just try and just stay in the game for as long as they can, I think. Yeah.
Long throw from Hollis at the back seemed to go into play and out. So it will be a Rugby flow far side from Miles, who's been ever present this season, played in all 42 league games, as the ball bounces up in midfield, hits Blythe in the hand, and it's a soft free kick to Slough, and it gives Slough the opportunity to get up into the other half. I think Somerville, dressed all in yellow, will come all the way up towards the halfway line to take this kick. Actually, no, he's left it to Woosley, kind of in no man's land at the moment. They seem to not quite decided yet. What would your position here? Would you want your keeper to be taking that?
No, definitely not. I'd have one of my centre halves then taking that, launch it into the corner, and I'd push myself up onto the halfway line.
Woosley's free kick. George Short wins the header, flicks it onto the box. This could be dangerous for Slough. Grudge gets up, but Johnny Dyer's outstretched leg doesn't quite get it, and it's played out to the right, and now Rugby have the opportunity through Towers to clear, but Johnny Dyer closes down well, and the ball ricochets out of play. It's a lively start.
Very lively. I think it goes with the condition of the pitch, John. It's going to be like this. It's going to be frenetic for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then hopefully it'll settle down a little bit, and we'll be able to see some good football played.
There's a bit of a midfield battle going on. It looks like one of the Rugby players there felt he got a bump on the head. Kolodinsky up against Woosley. Kolodinsky runs it out of play. It will be a throw into Slough midway inside their own half on the far side. The light's starting to fade here. Slough dressed in their all-purple outfit, shooting from left to right. If you've joined us late, no goals as yet. We've played about 3.5 minutes here at Butlin Road, and it's an absolute fantastic venue, fantastic night for football. The only thing that you could perhaps have a small gripe, which we've touched on a few times, is the pitch could be a little bit better.
Yeah, could be better. Very bobbly, but it's very
as Warren Harris drives the ball forward towards Smith, and Gudger comes across, does really well, cuts the ball out, but Slough will have an opportunity.
Very well defended.
The local board members near to us started to be a little bit vocal. Fraser with a quick throw to Smith, takes it back, looks to get the cross in, but is well marshalled there, I think, in the corner by Fox. Marston, down there in the corner, and Marston clears the ball out, and Slough will have another opportunity to put the ball in. Yeah,
it's interesting seeing Justin Marsden there. Looks like he's starting on the left-hand side, and he's generally enjoying his career. He's had some good clubs, Justin, Telford, Nuneaton, to name but a few. Always played as a striker or just off, so he's having to play in a left-hand wide role tonight.
The Slough passing there comes to now, and there's a throw in the deep towards their far corner flag, which Fox will have the opportunity to clear it up the line. Kettering have gone a goal to the good against Daventry, so that's the start they wanted. Easy scored, so Easy has scored a goal. He's a tank of a man if you've ever seen him play, but that will absolutely please Kettering, and I'm sure they've got a massive crowd in there today, so that will be just the start they wanted.
He's a good lad, Henry. I had him at Evesham when I was assistant manager at Evesham. He's a very, very big boy. Very big boy.
Towers bursting through midfield, but gets cut out by a couple of Slough players, but still keeps the ball, passes it out left, and Fox overlapping Blythe. Now Blythe cuts back inside, 20 yards from goal, decides to have a pop straight at the goal. Almost a little bit too hot for Somerville to handle, but just pops it up in front of his face. Kolodinsky, as ever, was prowling, but Somerville clears quickly out to the left, and Dobson's after it, up against Miles, and Miles just controls the ball, clears the ball up towards halfway, and Jamie McClurg heads the ball off, but Slough aren't really getting a foot on the ball, and Rugby have certainly started the brighter for me, as Lake Gaskin picks the ball up on halfway, bobbling around, bouncing around, but Short does well to convert it, pass it out to McClurg, and McClurg now through to Smith, and Smith up against Fox. Smith might pull the trigger. Smith pulls the trigger, but it's left of the upright, and that was the first real chance for Slough.
Yeah, good chance. I wouldn't say it's a clear-cut chance, but it's a half chance, and it's just chopped across it there, and it's just run out for a goal kick. But a good signs for Slough there.
Yes, and I think they'll be happy having weathered that initial kind of 2 or 3 minute period where Rugby were pressing slightly, and now Cooper has the opportunity to clear the ball long. Hello to you wherever you're listening, both MyFC fans and some of you Rugby fans. I know Jim O'Driscoll, the Irish Rugby Town Supporters Club, will probably be listening. Andrew Barnes in Australia, Steve Thornley probably in Germany. Hello also to Rachel, who understands driving around Liverpool or learning to drive around Liverpool from her parents. If you want to shout out, by all means, at MyFC Rebels Radio. You're not missing much just here. The referee's been a little bit pedantic, Mr. Law, sticking to his name and working out exactly where that throw should be taken. And a long clearance from Parsons, freshly recovered from a hamstring injury, but well dealt by Gudger. And Gudger only heads it out as far as Johnny Dyer, 10 yards inside, or 15 yards inside the Rugby half. And now Fraser has the ball inside to Short. Slough trying to play football. Short inside to Dobson. Dobson in midfield. Out ball left to Ryan Parsons. Ryan Parsons now, ball at his feet, has plenty of time to pick a pass. Just in inside pass to Ed Smith, and Ed Smith, with Haynes in attendance, passes it inside to Dobson. Dobson now outright to Fraser. Fraser, Slough knocking the ball around. Fraser will look to deliver in the box, delivers a low ball. It's bobbling around in there. It looked like Johnny Dyer tried to flick it on. McClurg flicked it over, hit it, and I don't think it'll be off, but that was again almost if you saw the incident a while ago, I think he went for the ball.
Yeah, I think that's he's been, I wouldn't say quite late. I think he's very late there. I think there'll be nothing more than a yellow card, but there was no need there. There's no need there. Niall Cooper's come out for that, gathered it, and just too late.
And just as it would happen, Ed Smith, that player, was sent off 2 weeks ago for going in on that player. So it's almost deja vu. And we're now having to see the referee's now standing over the far side. It's difficult to make out exactly what colour the card is. We've all got our eyes peeled. This could be a pivotal game in the match, a pivotal moment after all of 8 minutes.
He's not going to send him off here, John. This game's too big for that. It's early. It's the first challenge. Really, there's no chance.
I don't think the Slough fans are particularly happy with perhaps what they've perceived from the video evidence of a little bit of theatrics last time from Cooper. But the referee's now just telling Cooper to go away because Cooper's going to give his 2 pennies worth. And there's a stray, solitary, a bit sad-looking yellow balloon by itself which has just been popped, and he's now got booked. So Smith has got booked. He's already suspended from Monday, whatever happens. But Smith booked in the 8th minute. And the referee now just telling Cooper what he thinks of his opinion to how he should referee and who's doing the refereeing. And Cooper's, I think, giving as much as he's taking there, so as is the want at this time. But the result is a Rugby free kick after a little heated moment or two.
Yeah, it's interesting to see though that both sides are setting up as a 4-4-2, and that's quite it's quite novel in football in this day and age. But Slough have just had the best 2 or 3 minutes, and they've camped in Rugby's half the last couple of minutes. But it looks like I think the lad short in midfield is starting to pull the strings. They need to get hold of him.
Yep, as the ball comes out left from the ricochet off the heads to Fox, and Fox now up against Warren Harris, and Fox runs the ball out of play, down a bit of a blind alley, and Slough looking to start with a little bit of pace and intensity, snapping away at Rugby. I don't think they want to let them settle in, as Gudger comes through and wins a strong header, and now flicked on by Lake Gaskin. Good ball from Kolodinsky out right to Towers, but a heavy touch from Towers, but Towers still gets to the second ball, drives towards the far touchline, off Parsons, and it's out for a corner to Rugby on the far side. This is really end-to-end stuff.
Yeah, it is. That's the danger for Rugby. Jamie Towers he's a great athlete, Jamie, and obviously on both sides you've got Marsden who goes left and Towers who goes right. It's a danger. Four wide players on the pitch, very novel.
Yeah, so Fox is going all the way across. He stops Towers taking it. It will be an in-swinger from the far side. They're just organising who exactly is going forwards. It looks like Haynes is making his way forward. King on the outside of the box. Plenty of movement in the box. Gudger's up there at the far post, battling with the other skipper, Woos, as it's bobbling around in that area dangerously, and somehow comes all the way out the far side to Lake Gaskin on the near side, close to us. He's standing on the ball, approached by Parsons, but down now to King. King up against Dobson, easily past Dobson. King drives into the box, left-footed pass. Blythe can't control it, headed clear firstly by Johnny Dyer, and Slough struggling to get out of their own territory here, but Ed Smith needs to be careful, shouldn't dive in, but it's an agricultural clearance there by Slough, and Dobson clips it up over halfway line, and Miles will chest the ball back to Cooper, and I don't think Cooper's number one in the Slough fans from what I can hear.
Now, very interesting to see though, Slough, they're playing a real high line. As soon as that was cleared there, Woosley, the skipper, squoze right up really early, so obviously they think that they need to play a high pressing game here.
We've played just over 10 minutes here at Butlin Road. Great control there from it's Marsden who returns to the side, back to Fox. Now Fox on the halfway line, simple inside ball to Blythe. Rugby just keeping possession here, inside to Marsden again. Marsden now driving, passes the ball out left to Kolodinsky on the near touchline, up against Fraser, cuts back inside, crosses the ball in. Free header for Lake Gaskin, and he should have done better with that.
Should have done better. It's great build-up play. Marsden started it off again. He's coming into the game just in now. He's playing from out to in. A great little run from Kolodinsky. Great ball in the box, and I think Gaskin could have done better there.
Yeah, so game not quite settled yet as such. I mean, it's still a bit frenetic. Both sides kind of punching, just a bit of shadow boxing at the moment, just pulling the strings. No clear-cut chances.
Yeah, I think this is it's a game of cat and mouse at the moment. The two centre halves are heading it more than they're kicking it, I think, at the moment. They're scoring a bit in the air. It needs to get on the floor, but it's very difficult with this pitch. Yeah,
and Dobson picks up the ball inside the half, and Miles kind of cynically blocks him off, and the Slough fans are calling for off, which I think is they probably sound like they might have had a few too many beers on the way up. But I don't think Law was ever going to do a booking for that. But it's a free kick and give Slough the opportunity, probably 5 yards in from the far touchline, midway inside the Rugby half. All the players lining up on the edge of the D.
Let's see what sort of delivery he's got here, because it's a dangerous area here if he whips that in near post.
Yeah, it will be an outswinger with his left foot from Dobson. All the big players are in there, so Hines and Woosley reacquaint themselves with each other. The two number 5, Hines is up there. Short, who is anything but short, is in the box bouncing around. Ball driven in towards the far post. Free! I was jumped completely under it by Blythe, and Johnny Dyer didn't realise what was happening, but now King can come away with the ball. King up to Kolodinsky on halfway. Immediate first time ball to Lake Gaskin, but Hollis jumps in well, wins the ball, and now it's picked up, but there's no real fluidity. No people getting
very scrappy so far. The boy just needs to get on the ball there, really. He's got to calm down.
And Harris is running at Fox down the right hand side towards the edge of the box, just holds it up, blocks it off, and it will be a corner to Slough. It looks as if there was appeals there from Fox. He was convinced it was going to be a throw, but a goal kick, but it's a throw. Corner. Going a bit mad now. It's
not a corner, John. Is it a throw or is it?
I thought it was.
It's a corner.
I couldn't quite tell. Yeah, I think it's just a corner, just about a corner. So Slough again have another opportunity to get in the box. Both teams, I think, will need to make some of these set play counts if they're going to come out on this top in this match.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what delivery he's got here.
So again, going to be an in-swinger. The two big big players at the front post, but now Woosley spins away, taking Gudger with him. In comes Short to the front, to the near post. The ball's towards the back post. Woosley wins it, heads it off Gudger, and it'll be another corner to Slough. The Slough fans behind that goal have unveiled their large flag. It's not as big as the rugby flag that came down to Beaconsfield a few weeks ago, but I don't think I think they might have had flag envy and gone out and got a new one.
Tell you what, that's great support for a Tuesday night here. You know,
yeah. This
great support.
This is really a cup final. It's let's hope that it's a great game and we remember it for the right footballing reasons. As Dobson swings the ball in towards near post, and Cooper just really flapped at that, and Hollis could have done better with that, I would have thought. But again, Slough maintain a little bit of pressure. They'll have a long throw on the far side, in amongst the number of balloons that seem to have blown there from Slough, which seem to be yellow and blue, even though they're wearing purple. I'm a little bit confused, but I think that's their home colours, and they probably didn't think, actually, I'm going to be wearing our away kit today. As the long throw comes in, well cleared there by Haynes, and now flicked back in by Parsons, but now Rugby might have an opportunity to break. Good first touch by Kolodinsky. Sets Towers away, but Towers' ball isn't very well thought through, and it's gone harmlessly through to Somerville.
Sloppy from Towers there. He's got plenty of time on the ball there. He didn't have to force it. He could have come back and started again and just got a bit of good possession there for Rugby, but it's too hot potato for me at the moment.
I'm afraid that may be something we need to become used to. As a long ball goes through, and Ed Smith has an opportunity, and he hits the crossbar from Somerville's clearance. He got in on the right-hand edge of the box and looped it over Cooper, and everyone turned to see where that ball dropped, and it just dropped onto the top of the bar. And now Rugby, this game is like basketball. Seblake Gaskin on the right looks to clip a crossfield ball to get Kolodinsky in, but Fraser's wide to that, and now Slough may attack again. But that was a great touch there by Smith.
Fantastic. Ran off the centre half shoulder there, and you see Cooper just come off his line, and he's just dinked him over the top. So unfortunate for Slough there.
Once again now Slough having to do some defending, and Hollis just clears that ball out, and I think Rugby will be happy to breathe a sigh of relief there after that chance. They could be a goal down.
Both sides I think need a bit of respite really, because it's been frenetic for the first
15
minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
But it's I think it'll calm down. It'll calm down eventually. And
the Slough fans are just starting to chant McClurg from the halfway line with reference to a great goal that he scored in the last game from about 40 yards. You don't see many goals like that in a season, and it was a fantastic finish. But he was on the losing side that day as Gudger and Smith jump, and Gudger ends up on the floor, and Slough are pushing a few bodies forward here. Ball bounced up and hit King, but I think it was more ball to hand rather than hand to ball, and the referee lets play continue. Now it's out with Towers on the far right hand side in front of the away dugout. Back to Miles, and Miles plays a good ball on the floor through to Kolodinsky. He goes down, but nothing doing there by Mr. Lauren. The ball's driven forward long, but Gudger does well, turns, takes a moment or two to pick a pass, picks it into Blythe, and Blythe now under pressure from McClurg clips the ball forward to Parsons. Parsons heads it up, and now Short. The ball's spending an awful lot of time in the air at the moment. Not an awful lot of quality out there. Slough now attack, and Warren Harris is breaking into the box, and Cooper does well to come up, read the bounce of the ball, and avert that danger. But once again, a reasonable chance.
Yeah, again, just between the two centre halves there. You can see what Slough are doing. I mean, I like the boy Short in the middle of midfield. He's dominating everything really for me. We just want somebody to put the foot on the ball for a couple of minutes. You know, it's just all over the place. There's no, there's no rhythm to the game. No. As
Fraser's picked up the ball on the halfway line, pass it up the line to Johnny Dyer. Warren Harris overlapping, but back to Fraser. Fraser will now keep the ball on the deck to Johnny Dyer. This is, at least they're trying to keep the ball now to Short. Short likes to play the ball on the floor. He's just looking for a pass. Goes all the way home to Somerville. Somerville in his yellow kit. Long clearance upfield, and there's no Slough player underneath that at all. And it goes through to Cooper. Ian Moore has just said there's a flag update for us that they left the flag at Hayes apparently on Saturday.
Oh, they left it at Hayes. So, thanks for that, Ian.
Thank you very much, Ian. So it's in a pub. I'm not sure everyone exactly has clear memories of where that flag is, but it's somewhere in West London. We understand. As the ball's in midfield and King's on it, he passes it through to the feet of Dave Kodinsky, who then tries his luck from an awful long way out, and not with a real accuracy or venom, and Somerville can collect easily.
It's quite interesting. We've just said that somebody needs to gain a bit of composure and possession of the football, and
Smith's in again, and he's flick by Johnny Dyer had him through one-on-one on goal, and Rugby need to tighten that up because Gudger and Haynes aren't aware or aren't It's very direct from Slough, but
that's three times in the same area. The ball's gone in between the left back and Gudja, and you know, again, there's another chance there. Really, Slough. He should have
done better with that one. That was an easier chance of the one he hit the bar with.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
So we have played 18 minutes. Welcome along wherever you are. It's Rugby 0, Slough 0. In this Calor League semi-final. We understand the score in the other semi-final is still Kettering leading 1-0 after an early second-minute goal from Henry Easy, who you used to manage.
Yeah, he was one of our players when I was assistant manager at Evesham. Yeah, big, strong lad, Henry. What a monster, what a monster.
And if you're not familiar with who this voice is next to me, and he's got slightly more northern twangs than you used to, it's because I am kindly joined by an ex-rugby legend. I
wouldn't say legend.
Okay.
Ex-rugby player.
An ex-rugby player, and now currently assistant manager at Leamington, Liam O'Neill. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's right.
And you've had an interesting and varied career, haven't you? You've been around quite a bit, as it were, Liam.
Yeah, I started off as a young player at Blackburn as a youngster, and then went full time at Cheltenham for 4 or 5 years, and then had a good non-league career, 600-700 games in non-league, Banbury and Rugby and Evesham and Bedworth, and then obviously Bedworth manager for 2 or 3 seasons in the Southern League Midlands. So yeah, it's been interesting. But I've spent 3 years at Leamington now as assistant manager, and thankfully in the Conference North, and had a good season.
Yeah, you had a reasonable season. Finished mid-table.
13th, yeah, 13th. I mean, you know, if you'd have said to us at the start of the season, you know, where would you finish? I think we'd have took 19th, to be honest. But when you look at the pyramid, we're currently sitting just above Stockport County. So it's a great feeling this week, and then we're back to work next week with meetings.
Yeah, unfortunately, once the football season ends, I'm not sure how you finish. As Kolodinski's putting Hollis under a lot of pressure. Hollis does well enough, though, and it's an attacking throw now to Rugby down in the far corner, which Towers, who is literally, he lives up to his name, he does tower, is on the ball on the far side.
Part-time male model as well.
Part-time male model, yes. There was some banter about that. Yeah, I understand that. It's not just something a footballer says to somebody. In this case, it actually is, and I saw, unfortunately, on some people's Twitter feed, male football fans' Twitter feeds, picture of a quite a naked torso.
JT's a great lad. He was at Leamington with me at the start of the season, and due to work commitments, he couldn't fulfil his deal, but he's a cracking lad and a very, very good player, and very good looking at that.
I'm still not sure that non-league football fans should be tweeting pictures of naked players. I'm not, semi-naked players. I'm not sure how that fits. But Slough are attacking at the moment with Eddie Smith down in that far corner with Gudja in close attendance, just trying to win it. And Gudja does well, but Dobson comes up, but now cleared by Miles. The assistant on the far side. Maybe a Law, I'm not sure which side the Law is. Have we got any look-alikes? Do we think that Law looks like either of the two, particularly? Or?
No, I don't think so.
So the referee doesn't. He certainly doesn't look like that one, but he might. Maybe this one.
They're not related.
No. Okay, we've had confirmation they're not related. Panic over. As the ball's on the far side with Ryan Parsons down in the corner to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer turns on the ball. Tries to cross the ball in, but it's blocked well by Miles, and it will be another attacking throw into Slough. Hollis looks to come forward potentially to take the long throw, but it's taken quickly by Parsons, and Parsons now up against Tower and King. They're repelled, and it once again is another throw. There's got
to try and get out Rugby here.
Yeah, they're under a little bit of pressure. Long ball in, and Haynes heads it clear, and now headed on by King, and now Kolodinski live and wide to it, but the old head of Woosley does reasonably well. He's still got Kolodinski in attendance and just clears the ball out, and Rugby have got out, as you say, and so they've now got the ball on the halfway line in front of the Slough dugout on the far side, throwed into King. King controls it under a lot of pressure there from 2 or 3 Slough players, plays it to Towers, and now misplaced by Rugby, and now there's a great ball to kick to Smith, and Smith's into the box. Gudja dives in, does well, but it only falls as far as Johnny Dyer flicks, turns left-footed shot straight at Cooper.
And there's that ball again, John, in between the 2 centre halves and the full-back there. The boy Smith's calling him all sorts of problems.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, what was it's completely different to the way the game started at Beaconsfield a couple of weeks ago, and obviously Slough management team have They were going a lot more aerial that day, and today they've decided they're going to try and pick some passes and play on the floor a little bit more and try and get them facing towards their own goals, I think, as Smith goes up there well and wins the ball, and now Short touched the ball, and now McClurg looked like he was just held, but referee plays on, and Fox long clearance to the far side to the left back position for Slough. And King seems to be everywhere in this first 20 minutes or so, and he's played a very reactionary ball there, and it's not his best of the night.
It's a good battle in there between Aaron King and the big lad Short. It's a good battle in there. I think you'll find he's pushed on a little bit further up the pitch now because Short was dominating, and they pushed King a bit further on to stop him getting on the ball.
Yeah, as as Haynes comes a long way from the back to win a header, and then won by Kolodinsky. But again, it's not quite falling for Rugby at the moment. And a crossfield ball from Parsons up long, and now a great flicker from Smith in the direction of Harris. And Harris now up against Fox, tries to go around the outside of him, and might well win a corner again. But no, crosses the ball in. Cooper takes it easily, and let's just see if he tries to take this quickly or wants to just calm things down. I wouldn't be surprised if he just slows it down a little bit, maybe rolls it out, takes the pressure off.
Yeah, just take the sting out of the game a little bit there. But again, down this Rugby's left-hand side, causing a few problems. Harris.
Yeah, well, Harris has been one of the standout players for Slough. Used to play at Staines a few seasons ago, and then came across with the joint management team from Godalming last season. Yeah. And by all accounts, I think he's played a lot of goals, scored 17 goals from that position, and he is. I think he's probably nailed on in a lot of people's minds for Player of the Season. So it wouldn't do Slough any harm if he was on form tonight. As Rugby on the edge of the Slough box, ball from Marsden in the direction of Lake Gaskin, but cut out well by Woosley, but now returned by Haynes as well. And the centre backs, Woosley and Haynes, seem to be almost playing head tennis at points, but George Short gets the ball down once again, as you say, out right now to Harris, and Harris likes it when there's grass ahead of him. He's putting his head down, and now up against Fox, and he this time he cuts inside. Fraser's overlapping, passes the ball out to Fraser. Fraser now cuts back in attendance of Fox, goes back to George Short. Short takes a touch into McClurg, back to Harris. Harris does well with strength, and now on the edge of the box, he might pull the trigger. He's running towards the edge of the box, left foot shot, well blocked by Haynes, but that was dangerous from Slough. And now Kolodinsky on halfway, facing towards his own goal, looks for the crossfield ball, very ambitious, poor ball, and Parsons picks it out, and Parsons now to Short, who now seems to be pulling the trigger, got a little bit more time, getting Blythe running, getting a sweat on, and Parsons again up the line towards Dobson, but that's not a great ball, and Miles will have that. Dobson comes back at him, but now Towers on the right, low ball to Miles, and Miles now up over halfway inside to Lake Gaskin, and now Towers has a run, has opportunity to get forward to drive the ball into the box. I'm not sure if you mishit that, but it's stayed in, and Kolodinsky all the way across the far side at a very acute angle, pulls the trigger, might have done better to cross it, but Somerville easily grasped.
Yeah, Towers has motored down the line there, and it looked to us from where we are that it had gone out for a goal kick, and Kolodinsky's pulled that down absolutely superbly, and I think you'll probably be disappointed that he didn't do better with the finish in the end.
Yeah. You might either be hoping that he pulls it back across for someone to do it across, but as a natural striker, as a natural goal scorer, you can't argue with his record.
He's another one we had at Leamington as well. And there's one thing about Colo: the reason he gets so many goals is that he's very selfish in front of goal, and his record speaks for itself.
And the time is absolutely flying here. We've played 26 minutes. It remains goalless. Plenty of chances for both sides. I think Slough perhaps maybe just shading the chances.
I think Slough are shading it. In possession. I think chances as well. I think Rugby have got to start to get their influential players into the game, like Justin Marsden. You've got to get him into the game. And at the moment, the midfield four of Slough are bossing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's a free kick awarded to Slough, 20 yards inside their own half, and Somerville's come a long way, and he's going to take it quickly to get Slough on the move into the far corner. There's two Slough players after it, and Dobson's going to try and keep it in. He does well, but doesn't keep it in, and it's a goal kick to Cooper. But that was great vision from the keeper. That's almost what you want, a keeper who can pick players out that accurately.
That's what you were saying earlier about will Somerville come and take that just inside his own half. What his kicking's like, but quite clearly has got a great peg on him.
Yep, still 1-0 at Kettering, so the winners of this game will still be travelling either, well, if it's Rugby they'll be hosting Kettering, and if it's Slough they'll be travelling to Kettering next Monday at the moment, but not a lot of goals.
I'm sure the Daventry fans that are listening might have a bit to say about that. But
hopefully the Daventry fans will be listening to Poppy's radio and getting Kettering's viewpoint on it, as Lake Gaskin brought the ball down on his chest and tried to play through to Kolodinsky. There was lots of shouts of handball, but the referee and linesman nothing doing at all, and Parsons clears the ball up onto halfway line, and Gudger powerfully heads it back, and Fraser now takes a touch, but under pressure from Kolodinsky does well to use his shoulder to challenge, and now Fraser's upset, I think, and he's coming back at him slightly, but no one's trapped with Kolodinsky cutting across goal, passes it across towards Lake Gaskin, but in by Parsons, and Kolodinsky started very brightly as ever.
He has, but I can't see what Colo's doing there. I think Colo's really got to take it out of his feet and hit that there. I think he's he's been a bit unselfish. I've just said how selfish he is. Not there. As
there was an unconvincing clearance then by Cooper as the ball went through. The referee's assistant stops the ball in the Slough half as Rugby have been caught offside. And just a moment to catch our breaths. It has been breathless, hasn't it? This first half hour.
Great tempo. Great advert for Southern League football.
Yes, if there are any neutrals here, I would hope there are, that they'll be thoroughly enjoying this. I hope you guys are enjoying this at home. Please contact us, let us know what you think. Any predictions, where you're listening from, if you're wearing your Rugby or your Slough shirt. As Somerville takes a clearance long towards Harris. It was a free kick that has been given against Harris, and so Fox will have the opportunity to give Rugby a breath of space and launch the next attack as we approach the 28th minute mark. As the crowd are just a little bit subdued on both halves now, I think.
The game's gone into a bit of a lull the last couple of minutes, but it's interesting what we said. Rugby have got to try and get Justin Marsden into the game. He's playing too wide for me, and you've seen a minute ago, when he steps inside the pitch, he becomes a danger, but they've got to get him on the ball more. And
now Blythe has the opportunity to pass it out on the halfway to Fox, and Fox now, plenty of players ahead of him, but cuts back, just simple short ball to Blythe inside. Blythe now to Lake Gaskin, he's come deep for that ball. Skips past Dobson and now has McClurg in his pocket, but keeps the ball and protects the ball well. And back to Blythe. Rugby just having a little bit of possession here, and Blythe goes for a long angular ball, and I think they were doing better at keeping it short.
Great play from Slough there. Stifled Rugby's midfield again. Couldn't break through McClurg and short. And ended up Rugby just putting the ball long into the keeper's arms. And I think that would suit Slough. I think if they can frustrate Rugby and just get their two banks of four behind the ball, they'll say, go on, play a Hollywood ball through. Absolutely. And it's got to be a hell of a ball. It's got to be a hell of a ball there.
As Blythe passes it back to Baines, and Baines unconvincingly passes it out to Fox. I'm not sure that's the orthodox way of getting it back to your left back, but he cuts inside, looks crossfield for a ball. It seems to be a crossfield ball that they're picking out Towers, but the quality and the delivery of it isn't matching what they're wanting to do there.
Rugby are just trying to force the game. They're trying to force the issue too much. They can't get any good possession of the ball, and they're just resorting to going long into Towers as often as they can. It's not working.
And the flick there off Towers didn't meet, and Woosley's happy to let, I think, the two centre backs from Rugby have it, and then Baines forced into a mistake, heads the ball out, and now Slough have the opportunity to put together an attack. I think Slough are saying, Gudger, Haynes, you have the ball back there. You deliver it. You as centre backs deliver a quality ball, and at the moment they're not.
Absolutely. I think Rugby need to get further up the pitch. They're so deep at the moment, and they're just inviting the pressure on.
Ball flicked on by Harris, and Ed Smith picked it up in the box, takes a touch, back to Smith. Smith inside the D, tries to pass it back to Harris, but it's going to be cleared by Marsden now. Cleared long over halfway. Hollis will eat that up, pass it out to Fraser, and Fraser now has a little bit of a turn, has time to bring it forward into the Rugby half. Short ball inside, too short with plenty of time and space. King trying to get at him, but a short ball to Dobson. Dobson now going to be under pressure from Tower shortly, but turns away from him, gets a bit fortunate, and headed through to pass through to Johnny Dyer out on the left, heads it through in the direction of Smith, but it's safely through for Cooper.
Yeah, well, I just think we need a bit of individual brilliance to try and sort of raise the crowd a little bit, because it's just so hustle-bustle at the moment. You know, nobody's playing with any composure, really. I mean, I like the lad McClurg, and I like the lad Short in the middle of the park for Slough, and to me, they're on top of Blythe and Young Aaron King as well. It's going to be a good battle.
As a long ball comes forward through Rugby, Parsons repels it again and headed back by McClurg, and Parsons once again wins it, flicked on by Dobson in the direction of Johnny Dyer, who just put a foot in on Miles there, and Miles is down the floor, but nothing doing again by the referee. The referee, I think, has done reasonably well, let quite a lot flow. I think got the major decision of the first half after 7 minutes of Smith right.
Absolutely.
There hasn't been too many other bad tackles in the game.
There's not really been a bad tackle in the game as yet, has there?
No. There hasn't been. There was that kind of interesting decision over there. We'll see what happens on the video, but I don't think there was too much in it.
I don't think that you can read anything into that. I think he was just a little bit overzealous, and you know, the keeper's obviously protected himself there. Hurt will be hurt, I think.
Yeah, and I think if it was down the other end, I think the rugby fans wouldn't want to see want to see Kolodinsky sent off for similar. As Slough have a throw on halfway on the far side. We've played 32 minutes. Remains goalless here. A great evening for football here at Butlin Road. Lovely temperature. Flow and counter flow here as Fraser picks up the ball, pass it out right. Might have a little bit too much for it on Harris, but Harris keeps the ball in well. That's a great battle out there between Fox and Harris, and Fox looks like he might come out on top on this one. Clears the ball well down the line, but only as far as McClurg. McClurg now pass it out to Fraser, clips it into the ball with his left foot, heads it back by Ed Smith to Dobson. Dobson now on his wrong wing, comes inside, tries to get across, but will get it back again. Pulls the left foot trigger, and Gudger gets in the well of it well, because otherwise that was heading towards goal.
I mean, we're right behind that, and it looks, when he pulled the trigger there, the lad Dobson, it looks like it was heading for the top corner, but it's a great block from Gudger.
And once again, Slough having a little bit of pressure, and they haven't really penetrated very much from the long throws, because I think it's meat and drink for Haynes and Gudger in there, but throw to Johnny Dyer's feet. Johnny Dyer facing towards his own goal, back to Short, and now Short will take a moment with King up against him, has the ball, flicks it through to Harris, and now Harris will combine with Smith, and well dived in there by, is that Fox again back down there? He's having a hell of a first half. Yeah. We seem to be saying his name an awful lot.
Great build-up play there from Slough, in and out, up, back and through. They're trying to play their way into those little pockets targets in between the defensive lines there of Rugby.
As Harris pulls the trigger again, tries to cross it across, but it falls out now. And now Dobson, a long way from goal, pulls the trigger very ambitiously. He's got a hell of a strike on him, but it's wayward more often than it's accurate. So
very ambitious from there, but still pulled the trigger.
You don't score if you don't shoot, as some coaches say. But I think if you were coaching that, I don't think you'd want him to be shooting just there.
You've got to be asking your players to have a shot from that sort of distance. Anything could happen, could take a deflection off anybody. But you know, it's now Rugby. We've just said a couple of minutes ago, Rugby are now squeezing up another 10 yards, and I don't know whether the manager's actually said that to the players, but it's noticeable now. The game is so much more compact.
Yeah,
they've just stepped up.
As the goal kick's taken by Cooper, you could almost throw a picnic blanket over all 20 outfield players, because they were all almost in the vicinity of the centre circle. As a long ball goes through and Kolodinsky's after it. Kolodinsky flicks it up, but Woosley's going to be able to head this one away, but they're still under pressure there as Marston wins the ball on the edge of the box. But Short now will clear the ball long, and now Slough may have the opportunity to counter-attack as the ball's played out again. Once again, right seems to be their out ball, but it's in front of Johnny Dyer. But that was a great ball on the break. Great clip forward, and Kolodinsky managed to flick it over Somerville, but he didn't quite get the contact he wanted, and Woosley was able to come back and mop it up as Rugby now in the ascendancy, taking the ball forward, and a flick off Lake Gaskin, but Woosley's got plenty of time as a centre-back, and now it will be Slough to have to play long balls forward, and that's meat and drink for Gudger, and Gudger's going to have 2 bites at the cherry, and a rather blatant push there by McCurg. I think it was on the back of Blythe, and Blythe will take the free kick early, pass it out right to Miles, inside, in front of the big VC stand here at Rugby. Rugby shooting from right to left, dressed in their sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Even game so far, but Slough allowing them to play with the ball in their own half. But Lake Gaskin's come deep and won the ball, but Slough sloppily have given it straight back to him. He's approaching the halfway line as now Fox into Lake Gaskin again. Lake Gaskin coming back to get the ball, but he's lost it there. He's walking now. Why is he not more excited? Now there's battle between Fox and Somerville in front of us.
A typically frustrated striker not getting any service.
As the linesman keeps his flag down, and the person who's not in, he looked like he was offside as Smith goes towards the far byline, crosses the ball in. Great clear initially by Haynes and then by Gudger. And it did look like he was offside, but the linesman certainly had plenty of time to do it. As Short picks up the ball, passes the ball out with plenty of composure out to Parsons. Parsons will have a moment to choose his ball, picks it out towards this battle on our near side, which we're going to see a lot of between Harris and Fox. And Harris passes it back to right back Fraser, and Fraser's now making his way forward. Smith with the ball at his feet, Gudger in close attendance, back to Short. Short clips the ball over, and now Johnny Dyer's going to have a run, and he was in an offside position, so the flag does work.
He's moved towards it there, definitely offside, but you can see that Lake Gaskin is coming further and further and further into his own half there. It's because he's getting frustrated. He's not getting any decent ball into feet, and he's having to drop and further and further and further to get the ball. And you can just see that the Rugby midfield aren't really giving them any sort of service. However, you just saw the danger there for the Slough 2 centre halves there. That ball from Fox, Kolodinsky, one sniff, and you know they've got to be very, very careful because he is rapid.
He only needs one chance, and I think if you are one of the Slough management team at this stage, you might actually be a little bit, you might think actually we may deserve to be sneaking this 1-0 at the moment. So actually that we haven't is a testament to Rugby and how they are.
Absolutely, they're resolute defending. You know, they've been let off a couple of occasions, but as I say, with these two boys are prolific up there, and you cannot switch off.
No, exactly. And Rugby will have chances during the game. That is guaranteed. And the ball's flicked through to Somerville. Somerville now has the opportunity to decide what he's going to do with it. Is he going to kick it out of hand early? Yes, he is. And he kicks it up centre forward. Miles is underneath it. Miles, strong header away. But again, now the second ball in midfield, which Short and King contest. And Towers is in there. But Short now, having probably one of the best halves we've seen in a Slough shirt for a little while. Passes it outright to Harris. And Harris up against Fox. Harris early ball this time. Gudger gets it, but knocks it back to Johnny Dyer. Now Fraser's going to have a bit of opportunity to pick a ball into the area. Gets right underneath it and hits it out the ground.
It's a waste from Fraser there. Good area. One good ball into the box, and got bodies flying into the box there, and I'm sure the manager will be very disappointed with that final ball. But again, good build-up play from Slough.
Yes, and we have been saying that, hopefully not being biased, but we have been saying that a little bit, and it does feel a little bit like that. I think they need to get some end product on this, otherwise Rugby will be happy. Dave Stringer will be happy going in at half-time 0-0 and knowing that his players haven't played at their best and will offer a lot more in the second half.
Absolutely. I mean, the times I've seen, this is probably the poorest, or you've got to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and it's probably the poorest I've seen Rugby. That I've seen them on several occasions this season. However, you probably have to put that down to Slough have really, really dominated possession, I would say.
Yeah, and Dobson, quick throw on the far side up to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer hooks up the line blind, and Haynes will have a little bit of time and clears the ball long up over halfway, and the bounce favours Gaskin, and Gaskin flicks it on in the direction of Kolodinsky, but Woosley, who's been quite strong there, picks the ball up, and now once again Slough's out is to the right, and Fraser now on halfway passes the ball inside to Harris, who stepped over it trying to dummy it for Johnny Dyer, but it didn't come off, and now Rugby, late Gaskin facing the right way, and there's opportunities down the left as ball's played into King on the left edge of the box, takes a touch, passes it inside, but well cut out by Woosley, and the PA announcer here is getting excited, but there wasn't anything quite doing there.
Great defending from Woosley. Aaron King again, when he comes into this left-hand side pocket from central midfield, great defending from Woosley.
And that's where the centre midfield pairing of McClurg and Short at a bit of a loss. They're not tracking back with him, and
2 or 3 times the runners have got past. Especially as the game's getting longer.
And the ball will fall to Blythe, 20 yards from goal. Now out right to Ellis. Ellis cutting back, and slips as he takes a shot. Bobbles in front of Somerville, and will Somerville look to do it early? Slough shouting, the 2 strikers are shouting for it.
It's interesting there. Miles has got an opportunity to hit it on his strongest right foot, and he's chopped inside and shanked it really with his left foot. It's disappointing. He'll be disappointed, Ellis.
And the ball bobbling around just in front of us, and Harris wins the ball strongly, but then loses out to Blythe, who comes away with the ball, looking to pick his passes it short to Lake Gaskin, and Kolodinsky's moving about, buzzing around, and Short's gone down off the ball. I think they just touched each other, but not a lot doing. And Dobson, great step over and halfway, and why is the referee not playing advantage there? I think that's a bit of a poor decision there, unless he's going to pull someone back. And
I can't see what he's seen there, John, because it's great feet there from Dobson in the middle of the park, and I think the referee's probably just been a bit quick to blow the whistle there, but Slough are on the ascendancy there. Yeah, there's trouble for Rugby.
Yeah, Dobson did a great step over to skip past King in the middle of midfield, and now Somerville's coming up into the centre D to take a kick, and
I'm sure he'll put quality on this as well. With
you're gonna curse this now. Now he'll slip on his arse.
Yeah, probably shank this one over the back of the stand
as he clips it towards the far side. Warren, Harris, and Fox underneath it, and they duck underneath it, and Harris first time volleys across towards the back of the box, clipped back in by Johnny Dyer out to the edge of the box, and now Blythe will hook it clear, and Kolodinsky's interested. He heads it back, but only as far as Short battling against Marsden, and Marsden's beaten out of it, and the bespectacled person saying it's a foul. What do you think it was a foul? I think it was
1.5 a dozen. The first one, I think probably McClurg. The second one, you could possibly say was a free kick, but it must have been given for the second one.
Yeah, so it's some differing views as ever about whether you can have 2 players tackling one or not, and the referee just having a little chat with McClurg. I don't think it's for the actual tackle. I think it's more for McClurg being quite a voicey, mouthy person. He likes to talk his way through a game, shall we say? and I think he's just telling the referee that he perhaps didn't quite agree. Rugby take the ball short, pass it out right immediately, and it's Miles on the ball, back to Blythe. Blythe opens himself up, but then goes back to Ellis on the halfway line, but now they lose the ball again, and now Harris has the opportunity, but he's well won by the Marston, working back hard, and now he's set Ellis Miles on his way again, and Miles at halfway, but once again, it's gone a bit bitty in this last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the disappointing thing for me is I've seen Rugby, like I say, on a few occasions this year, and they get the ball down really well. I don't think really the pitch is helping them. They're not really stringing 3 or 4 passes together, and it's really affecting them. But now you can see Marsden's got on the ball 3 or 4 times,
and he's done an awful clearance there. He's somehow passed it straight to Smith, but danger's averted for now as the
kiss
ball
of death on him there.
As back to Fraser, and Fraser and Harris combining down on the right hand side on the near touchline. Looks for a ball to Short, and Short's pulling some of the triggers, takes a bad touch, and now that's 2 against 1. Is that a foul? No, we don't know. But it does well to get out, turns well to turn out of trouble, and passes it to Woosley. Woosley then in the direction of Smith, but falls to Short again, who's been a real influence in the first half. Lofted ball in the direction of Harris, but Cooper should come across and get that safely and avert the danger as we go into the final 3 or 4 minutes of this first half.
He didn't need to force it there, Short.
No.
He could have started again, come out wide. Instead, he's just put a hopeful ball into the area there. He didn't really need to force it, but he's been my standout player so far in the first half.
Yeah, and I think he has been involved in everything that's been good alongside Harris. I think those two particularly strong. Kolodinsky's looked always a threat, and the back 2 for Rugby have done very well, repelling all this danger as a rather overweighted ball then by Lake Gaskin.
Again, final ball, John. Final ball.
The quality there for Rugby going forward doesn't seem to be what it has been before, as once again Lake Gaskin this time guilty of overhitting the ball straight through to Somerville, and now Somerville clears it low trajectory off his right foot and headed back in the direction of Cooper, but it may go out for a corner, but Cooper does acrobatically well to keep the ball from going for a corner, and it now be an attacking throw for Slough going into the final few minutes of this first half. The lights on the bar just starting to shine out on the far side a little bit brighter as the sky is setting. There's some pink clouds, and it's just getting a little bit chillier now with the door open, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We won't want to shut that, I think, in the second half. But again, the value in the goalkeeper there. Not saying that it's just a lumpet merchant, but it's a great measured ball there, and Cooper's had nothing else to do there apart from put it out for a throw in a dangerous area.
Hollis has taken a long throw, but it's to Gudger, and then Gudger passes it. Gudger's clearance only goes as far as Dobson, and Dobson has a wild slash at it. Now Rugby should come away with the ball, but it's back by short to McClurg, and McClurg now outright to Ed Smith. Ed Smith with Fox in attendance, pass the ball on the edge of the box to Harris, and Harris back to McClurg. McClurg might pull the trigger, but dummies. Cuts it inside to Ed Smith. Ed Smith takes a touch, and now Rugby clear it, but only as far as Dobson. Slough having some pressure here, and Harris doing a number of touches, but now out to McClurg, right hand edge of the penalty box, looks to cross it, but dummies back inside, left footed chipped cross into the box, flicked on towards the far post, but just away from Johnny Dyer. He's doing well to keep it in. He'll cross the ball back in, but well blocked there by Haynes, I think it is, on the far side. Rugby under a lot of pressure.
Great work from McClurg again there, putting Rugby under quite a bit of pressure now.
And now Parsons will look to drive the ball in, and let Gaskins work very hard to go back and block that out for a Slough throw in, and the Slough fans to our right are making some noise as they're encouraged by their players at the end of this first half. Long throw on the far side in front of the bar. There's plenty congregated in front of that bar. And long throw comes in towards the back post, but it's cleared away by Brythe, and we're going into the final minute of the regulation 45 in the first half. Slough pressing a little bit here in this last few moments, looking to try and take advantage, and Dobson goes down very soft, but the referees awarded a free kick. That
sloppy from Jamie Towers. We're going in towards the end of the first half. There's no need to do that in that area of the pitch, and I think that the manager will be really disappointed with him there.
Yeah, so Dobson will have an opportunity as we go almost into injury time to deliver the ball in off the floor. The big Slough players from the back are going forward. Woosley's going forward. The two number 5s, Gudger and Woosley, will reconnect one another. They seem to be inseparable at these moments. As well, the two number 6s, Short and King, as the ball's delivered left footed towards the back post. Harris heads back down and across. It's blocked there by Marsden, and now up to Lake Gaskin on halfway. Lake Gaskin showing a lot of strength, and the referee once again doesn't play advantage, similar to the other.
He's done that 2 or 3 times. He's too hasty on the whistle. Yeah, too hasty on the whistle. The referee. He's got to let the game flow and just watch it develop, and then make the decision.
So we have 1 minute, and now it's Rugby's opportunity to get the ball forward into the box. And Gudger's just having a little word with Mr. Law and asking why he hasn't played advantage there, because I think anyone would be a little bit annoyed with that.
Kolodinsky's away there.
Yeah, Kolodinsky was almost clear through.
Got to watch it develop. The referees too hasty.
Just give him the opportunity for it to progress a little bit further. Gudger stands over the ball, chips it in towards the far post. Woosley Towers wins it well, headed down towards Somerville, and Somerville, I think at this stage of the game, will just be trying to eat away a little bit of the time. We've played 40 seconds of the added minute so far, and what would your thoughts and sum up of this first half be?
I think it's been a very scrappy first half, to be honest, but I think Slough probably just edge it on chances. Neither side have really got a good amount of possession, and really Rugby have really got to start to get their players such as Justin Marsden into the game, and you see that Gaskin is trying to drop deeper and deeper and deeper because of the ball going into him is not good enough. Very impressed with McClurg and the big lad Short in midfield and Smith up front. Great ingredients for a second half. I think this is one of those games that could probably be, or possibly be, settled by 1 goal. Could go either way, John.
Yeah, are you set in for 120 minutes if it goes that far?
Yeah.
As the players leave on the far side under the main stand to go underneath and get their words of advice, who do you think will be the busier of the managers at half time?
Possibly the Rugby manager. I think Dave will probably want to tell his back four he's got to squeeze up another 20 yards and sort of condense the game a little bit, because you saw in the first half the 3 or 4 opportunities that Slough had were all coming from a diagonal which going in between the lad Fox and Gudger, and I think that they need to eradicate that in the second half by pushing up a little bit higher. But as far as the attacking force for Rugby, Slough's manager's obviously got to be wary as well of the pace of Kolodinsky, because 2 or 3 times Kolodinsky's been in and unfortunately couldn't finish.
I thank you very much for your contribution. The Kettering game is apparently still Kettering 1, Daventry 0. We're going to say goodbye to you for now. We'll leave you with the interview from Neil Baker after the game which got Slough into these playoffs, and we'll come back to you in about 10 minutes, hopefully, for some goals and action in the second half. So thank you very much, Liam, and we'll just turn our mics off. Good evening and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I am joined today reflecting on the victory against Chertsey at home, which has sealed playoff football for Slough Town. How are you, Neil?
Yeah, relieved, I think, John.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest 90 minutes of football.
No, it wasn't. We knew it was going to be tough. Listen, you know, Chertsey are that type of side that they will dig in and they will try and get a result. And we knew that their management team would try and get them up for it, because we know them quite well, and we know that they weren't going to lay down and die. And in those types of games, you've got to try and get yourself in front early. And if you do, you know, you can sometimes get a few. But the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes. And you know, and that's what it was today. I mean, it wasn't a great performance, but it was job done. You know, we've got the 3 points that we needed, that were necessary to, you know, secure the playoffs. And you know, listen, we've got to give the lads their plaudits for the last 3 months and over the course of the season, because we've finished with 83 points and we've finished fifth in the league.
There was some people saying that Chertsey just turn up and roll over. Credit to them, they didn't. They, you know, early on they were creating a few scares.
Yeah, you know, we went in at half time. We were very critical at half time. We didn't feel we had enough tempo about us, and we felt that, you know, take away maybe Warren had a chance, and I can't remember. Yeah, he hit the post, and we had another one or two sort of half chances. I felt that they had some good chances first half, and I thought we were the orchestrators of their chances a lot of the time. You know, we were a little bit susceptible at the back, and I don't think we'd taken enough control, and we gave them a couple of chances. But to be fair, second half, we had the wind with us, and it was pretty much us going forward, and sort of a case when we were going to score. You know, they didn't really create much at all second half. So, you know, listen, fair play to them. They come and had a go. You know, they did the league justice by doing that.
Was the nerves at all for the players? Was there that pressure felt? There's obviously a big crowd today at Holloway's.
Yeah, listen, I think so. You know, you're there to be shot up when you're playing a side that have just been relegated, and you need a win to get into the playoffs. I think the players, you know, they sensed, I think, you know, at the anticipation, the, you know, nervousness of the crowd, ourselves, and you know, you're bound to be a little bit nervous, because if we hadn't have got in, it would have been very disappointing. But the fact is, they stuck to their task. You know, they've seen out the game a 1-0 win, and now I think the pressure's off us now. You know, I don't think anyone's now necessarily expecting us to go in and beat Rugby and one of Kettering and Daventry if we were to beat them. So I think the pressure's off us now, and we can play with a bit of, you know, bit of fluency, and hopefully, you know, try and cause a shock, because Rugby are the favourites.
Going in, obviously a little bit easier off the back of the win, because Barton lost, which meant that you could have afforded to draw or lose, but going on for a win's a more positive frame set to do that. Who were your strong performers today on there for Slough? You know, there wasn't loads of, you know, top performances. You know, we picked out Jamie McClurg at half time, more so because of his work rate and his desire. You know, he wanted to win the game, and felt that he you know, he sort of tried to push people through. I wouldn't say that, you know, we had any real standout performances today. I thought there was a number that weren't quite at the races, and I believe that the pitch has a bit to do with that, and also the, you know, the nervousness of trying to get in the playoffs. So I think you'll see a different side to us. I think you'll see a side that's you know, been so good, you know, in the last 3 months. I think you'll see that side on Tuesday night, and we'll go to Rugby and give it a right old go. Yes, looking ahead to Rugby, what's the latest squad situation? Obviously, you made a few changes during the game. Were any of them injury-led? Was any of them protecting legs? What was the decision there?
No injury problems from today's game. Ryan Parsons trained, and he was doing some running and also striking of the ball. We're fairly confident that he might come through. So, you know, that would be a big plus for us, because, you know, Ryan's been excellent So hopefully we'll have him. We'll have Adam Cornell back in the squad as well. So we should be going into it in pretty good shape. Obviously no Scott Harris still, and no Adam Fowler, but we should be going in pretty good shape. So fingers crossed.
Any other players unavailable for Tuesday? Obviously it's a difficult time. It's a long trip up to Rugby. People have to finish early and.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a problem potentially with Dan Sintim. I think Dan's a teacher, and sort of he's based over Croydon way. It might be tough for him. We're doing what we can with that one, so we'll wait and see. But other than that, I think most of the others should be fine. We're gonna leave relatively early, probably about 3:30. We're going to go up on the coach together and stop and have some food. So hopefully we'll be there in plenty of time. And we're going to give it our best shot.
Two very differing experiences against Rugby. Obviously went up to Butlins earlier in the season, had a great experience. Eddie scored 4 goals, comfortable winners there. More recently, Rugby have come into a bit of rich form, as you alluded to earlier, and won comprehensively despite the 2-1 scoreline last week at Holloway's. What do you say to the lads ahead of the game?
Well, we know it's going to be tough. Rugby have been a good side for the last 2 years, and I have to say they tore us to pieces last Saturday. I thought they were excellent. We know we need to step it up, but obviously we went there early on in the season and won 4-0. However, I still maintain that I don't think that was a 4-0 game. I thought we took our chances on the day and we were pretty ruthless. So we know it's going to be very difficult, but it's a proper stadium. There'll be a good crowd. The pitch should be decent. Hopefully, it'll be a good game of football. And listen, we've got plenty of belief in our players that we can go up there and get a result. But obviously, we know Rugby are going to be a tough nut to crack.
And it is a cup final in every sense of the world. It's winner takes all, goes on to the next stage. So 2 cup finals to go. Where do you see Slough? Are you confident that you can get promotion?
Well, you've always got to remain positive. We know it's going to be hard. There's 4 good sides in the playoffs. They're 4 strong sides. Listen, we'll go and give it our best shot and hope that we can go and beat Rugby. But as you say, it is a cup final. Not even going to look beyond that one at the moment. We'll just we'll go up to Rugby and work hard and see what happens. And if we can get the result, then you're potentially 1 game away from step 3 football.
What did you make of the crowd finally today at Holloway's? There was a good number there. The weather conditions were good. There was an awful lot of youngsters and the whole Slough community coming together.
Yeah, I mean, that was brilliant. Mark Betts had arranged to get all the youth teams up there, and there was parents and coaches and things like that, and that's great. That's what we should be doing as a club. We should be integrating the kids and getting as many people involved as possible, and that's brilliant. From our point of view, I think there was just under 400 there, paying guests, I believe, and obviously there's probably 80 or 90 youngsters in there as well. So we're pleased with that, and we just hope we get as many as we can to travel to Rugby. We know it's going to be difficult, but the support will be much appreciated from the lads, and hopefully they'll spur us on.
And finally, nice to put a penalty away.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, Johnny's record is actually pretty good on penalties, so I think he's probably taken the mantle now. It was a bit of a scuff.
Shintastic.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shinner, but no. Listen, if the keeper goes the wrong way, you say it's a good penalty, and listen, he had the nerve to stand up and take it, and he put it away, and it's ended up with 3 points.
So, irrespective from here, now whatever happens to the playoff result, would you consider this a successful season?
Yeah, listen, our aim was to get ourselves into the playoffs in our first year. It wasn't achieved last year. Whether it was the FA Cup run that killed them or what, they didn't end up getting in the playoffs, which would have been the key thing at the start of the season, or to at least win it. So the fact that we've got into the playoffs, we've now given ourselves a chance, and that's all you can do by getting in the playoffs. You give yourself a chance. We've got that chance where you win 2 games, you're up. And, so from my point of view, it's been successful on the basis that we've had a lot of issues, a lot of problems this year, and at one point I thought we were completely gone. but the lads have dug deep, and I'm absolutely delighted that we've made the playoffs.
And then finally, Dunstable champions, worthy champions.
I'm delighted, for them. At the end of the day, I always say whoever finishes top of the league deserves to, finish top of the league. They've played 42 games and they've won the league by a point. So, you've got to take your hats off to them. They gave us a tough game at their place when we beat them 3-2. When they beat us 3-2, and we gave them a tough game at our place. You always look at it and think, oh yeah, we beat them 4-0. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They've ended up getting 7 points more than us, and over the course of the season they've been the better side. So fair play to them. They've obviously come up from step 5 last year. It's obviously reported that they've got a few quid there as well, and good luck to them. It's a nice little setup, and I hope they do well next year.
And hopefully we'll still be playing them next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to speaking to you hopefully after Tuesday. Looking forward to a game next.
Welcome back to Rebels Radio. We are live from Butlin Road Rugby. The Slough players have made their way out onto the pitch after half time, and the rugby players are just filtering out. Let me just take you through the team. The score is 0-0 at half time. Not huge amounts of goal mouth actions. There's been a few sporadic efforts. Slough hit the bar with Ed Smith. Kolodinsky had a couple of decent chances, but nothing actually threatening the scorer's notebook as yet. The teams. Let's start with Rugby Town, wearing sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks, and they'll be shooting from left to right this half. In goal, number 1, Niall Cooper. Number 2, Ellis Miles. 3, Nathan Fox. 4, Nathan Haynes. 5, and captain Alex Gudger. 6, Aaron King. 7, Jamie Towers. 8, Richard Blythe. 9, Dave Kolodinsky. God, that was a mouthful for me. 10, Seb Blake Gaskin. 11, Justin Marsden. And then on the bench, we've got Greg Casaboni, who's coming back from suspension. We've got Michael Williams and some late joiners to the team today, to the squad, Mitch Piggin and Steve Palmer, and also Guy Hadland. And then for Slough, in goal, we have number 1, Jake Somerville. 2, Sean Fraser. 3, Ryan Parsons. 4, Guy Hollis. 5, and captain Dave Woosley. 6, George Short. 7, Johnny Dyer. 8, James McClurg. 9, Ed Smith. 10, Warren Harris. And 11, James Dobson. And on the bench you have 12, Dan Simpton. 14, Ben Edwards. 15, Jake Parsons. 16, Steve Duff. And 17, Adam Cornell. And the officials, the referee, Jeff Law, and his assistants are Matthew Law and Ryan O'Mahony. And the fourth official is Ben Cook. And I am joined today by Liam O'Neill, assistant manager at Leamington, who've had a reasonably good, successful season this year, and he's an old ex-rugby boy. He's played for a lot of different non-league games for a lot of different teams, and he's kind enough to have come and been doing some excellent summarising.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's really enjoyable. It's been great. Great experience, and to be honest, it's been quite a good game as well.
Excuse me while I just open the door. Carry on talking.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, it's hopefully the second half will live up to the pace and the frenetic type of style of the first half. But I think we're just lacking a little bit of quality. It's very, very hustle bustle. I think as the game sort of opens up, there'll be 10 or 15 minutes into this second half, and I think we'll see a few more gaps open up. But as I say, I'm just waiting for somebody just to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and show one little piece of brilliance. In fact, it might just take one bit of brilliance in this, because it's very you have it, we have it type football. But I must just say, I think Slough probably just shaded the first half on chances alone. But I'm very impressed with the big lad in midfield for Slough, the lad Short. I'll say he's not the stereotypical.
The big lad Short. Did you just say that?
Yeah, there's a contradiction of terms there from me. But yeah, the big lad Short. No, he doesn't look like your stereotypical central midfield player, but he's very effective, and I'm sure if he keeps performing the way he's doing it, it'll be a successful night for him.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if all these players can maintain the tempo and the freneticism. The game's been played really end to end, so you fear that as the time passes and
they'll tire, John, as well.
Space will come, and there will be spaces, there will be mistakes. I think the benches will have a key role to play as well, because obviously Rugby today have strengthened their bench.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long season for these boys. 10 months of this. 2 games a week, especially. And fatigue will probably play a part, and who knows, might even have an extra half an hour anyway.
Yeah, and for those of you that haven't ever been to Butlin Road, it's got covered terraces on 4 sides. We're on the far side from the main stand, which is adorned with a VS referencing Valley Sport, which used to be the name of the club many years ago. But there's an Astro pitch, I understand, just off to the left at the graveyard end, as a through ball goes through to Ed Smith in the start of the second half, and Ed Smith just cuts back. It might have been better to go forward, but passes it off and leaves it for McClurg. And McClurg now out left to Johnny Dyle, left edge of the box, clips it cross. Headed across, but George Short comes into it, flicks it wide of the far post. Good start on the second half.
Very good start from Slough. Setting their stall out from early doors. It's just interesting that Short there has made a late run into the box.
Sorry, I think actually correcting it was Smith. I think it was Ed Smith came back. Short didn't make it. It was
was it Smith? Was it?
Yeah, I got that wrong.
Well, the boy here, I think was it Dyer with the Dyer with the ball into the box there. I mean, he's started the second half really well. It's going to be very interesting. I was just interested to see that King and Blythe had got the wrong side of the ball there, enabling the midfield boy to go through in between the lines.
And now Lake Gaskin, almost immediately in front of us on the near side, coming quite deep again to get the ball, just not under any pressure, but off to Miles, whose first time ball up in the direction of the far corner. Parsons away, and now Blythe seemed to buff it into the back of McClurg, and the referee had his whistle in his mouth, and he did stop this one probably. He let the advantage go for a couple of seconds there, which he didn't really do in the first half too much.
I think his fourth official might have had a quick word in his shell, like at half time there.
And now Slough with Somerville, running joke from the first half that Somerville was coming out to take kicks from quite well.
Is his nickname Jimmy?
No. But he's got some great. Apparently, he's got some dizzy boots as the long ball goes forward, and Nathan Haynes clears the ball well, and it's now out in that midfield battle, which King's now won this time, and King off to Marsden, and Marsden clips the long ball for Kolodinsky to get after, but he's well marshalled there by Hollis, and a good strong tackle on the far side, which will give Rugby an attacking throw down in the far corner in front of the pass. Yeah, he's got pace to burn.
Yeah, which you need against Kolodinsky.
Yeah, as the Rugby are attacking on the far post, they'll look to drive the ball in, curl the ball in, but repelled by Woosley, but only as far as Blythe. Blythe headed up underneath it, but he'll go for it. Short will go for the second ball now. Head tennis at the start of this second half, and then a wild swinger by Parsons, and Woosley now loses it, and Lake Gaskin has the opportunity to bring it down in the box, but the ball was always bouncing up off the hard pitch, and some of it came out well to stand up, but it's got the Rugby fans behind that goal
started
shouting.
With a poor clearance from, I think it was Parsons. Was it Parsons there with the poor clearance?
Yeah. And the large Rugby Town flag that we thought was missing is back. Apparently some flags were left at Hayes, but that is the ginormous one that I was talking about. It's back in the right hand end. There's a real good number of Rugby fans who I'm sure are telling someone how good he is at kicking goal kicks. It's a really good attendance, apparently 622. 562, sorry, I was a bit dyslexic there, obviously. As a low shot comes through from Dobson, a bit of a sally gun, ugly but ran well. I think
going back to that chance that Rugby have just had, I think Gaskin could probably be either a little bit braver or could do better with the finish there. I think that was a really good chance for them.
Yes, he chested it down well, showed strength, and Somerville came out and he took the option to try and loop it up and over as Kolodinsky and Hollis are there tangling, and there's a free kick centre of the pitch, probably 30 yards out, which now Rugby will look. I think they'd be wise to slow this down a little bit and probably have a shot on goal. Who would you be looking at
Blythe,
here? Fox?
I think Richard Blythe or maybe Fox, a left back, will probably come up and have a strike here, but knowing David Kolodinsky, I'm sure you won't be able to wrestle the ball off him. So
we have played 3.5 minutes of this second half. It's 0-0. 5-6-2, 5-2-2. I'm being told all different sorts of attendances. We'll pin, some more people might have turned up at half time. We'll put it down to that when the gates are open.
I was right. I think it's going to be Kolodinsky.
Yeah, Kolodinsky looking set for this.
Seen him danger here. Seen him put these in.
And he's run up 2 or 3 paces. Slough have a wall of 4 on the 18-yard lot, so I'm guessing that it's 28 yards out by my maths. They're just trying to edge forward. Lake Gaskin's get involved, but right foot. Kolodinsky steps up, it's over the bar, and endangering fans, not the back of the net. And Somerville quickly throws the ball down, and May will look to set Slough off, but no, I think he's just calming things down. It'd be interesting to have known what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time. I think the Slough management team will have been slightly happier.
Yeah, for sure. I think Kolodinsky is going to be really disappointed with himself there. You know, I think from that distance, I think really you've just got to first and foremost try and hit the target from there, and try and get the rest of the boys that are on the edge of the box trying to pick the bits up. I think it's a bit of a waste there.
Long clearance there was repelled initially by the back line of Rugby, and then Johnny Dyer just had a little petulant kick out at King, but King didn't moan too much, got on with it, and now the long clearance is launched forward, and Rugby have certainly come out of the blocks this second half, and Gudger and Dyer collide on the far half, but Gudger was just letting the ball go out, and it will be a throw in to Rugby. they're pushing a little bit more this start of the second half, aren't they?
It is. It just seems a game of cat and mouse, really. It's the first half started in this fashion as well. Rugby had the first 5 or 6 minutes, and they were camped in Slough's half, and then the game sort of opened up, and Slough became the stronger and more progressive side, and it's just started in the same fashion as the first half.
As Somerville takes a quite hurried clearance, and this time he lacks a bit of accuracy, and Parsons slips, hooks the ball up long, and Dobson's underneath it. Dobson takes a touch, looks to flick it over inside, and has Johnny Dyer interested, but Gudger heads the ball down. Now Marsden will try and clear it, and King will pick this up on halfway. King loses his balance and just clears it away, and now Parsons tries to take it up against Mars, cuts it inside to McClurg, and now McClurg turns, passes it through. Now Parsons has an opportunity to deliver the ball into the box up against Haynes. Great delivery, great flick off the back by Gudger, and then also I think it was Marsden, was it, with a second header, who's now chasing after the ball, and well blocked there by Fraser. And
good build up from Slough there. Parsons with a great ball into the box. I mean, you've got to say it's a great defensive header from Gudger, the first one. I think it was Marsden round the back post for the second one.
So
great defending.
You still couldn't call this. There's chances galore, and both teams are still really kind of playing. I suppose they're playing to their game plan. They're not necessarily playing their best football, but they're playing to stifle the opposition a little bit.
This game is going to open up. They're still very much, cat and mouse, and it's not defending as deep as they were in the first half.
There's a free kick to Rugby inside the Slough half, which they play short. Miles down in the far corner, trying to turn to get the ball in, short pass to Towers, and now Towers comes in and kicks the ball out of the ground. That was an awful effort.
Right ahead of Jamie Towers there, and then Jamie Towers again, very disappointing with his final ball.
Plenty of time, with just picks a ball to King, and King just buffets Hollis, but Hollis repels that attack, but Slough under pressure.
It's a waste for Rugby there. Collinson didn't really need to get involved out here on the right hand side. Jamie Towers has made a great overlap. Just roll in, put the ball in the box. I think Colo's got a bit carried away there. He's dropping too deep.
Ellis Miles with the throw, inside to King. King now on the edge of the 18-yard box. Inside to Blythe. Blythe now under pressure, but manages to get the pass away, but it's under hit, and now Fraser anticipates, comes out well. Ed Smith on the halfway line, back to Dyer. Dyer's pass isn't the best, and that's almost reminiscent of some of the misplaced passes that we saw going towards that end in the first half. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, they're just trying to force it. The game's too open. You don't need to force it. They need to get good possession, and Rugby really are the side that are showing that by trying to get good possession higher up the pitch, it's they're looking the most dangerous side at the moment.
As the ball's bouncing around deep in the Slough half, and Woosley, no nonsense, oofs the ball up. It's got snow on it as it comes down towards Johnny Dyer, and Johnny Dyer just wins that ball, and McClurg tries to play the ball through in the Smith, but Gudger, once again, he's been everywhere this evening, does very well, passes it short to Blythe, and Blythe seems to have been seeing a bit more of the ball. Master now hooks the ball, blind, and a little bit hopeless down the line, and he's actually put it out first, so it must have curled out and in, and Slough will have an opportunity to just relieve the pressure a little bit.
The discipline is like Gaskin for Rugby, really. The times I've seen him, he's a very, very good player. He's very sharp. He's very bright. He hasn't really got into the game for me tonight. I don't know whether it's because he's not receiving the ball, he's not getting the ball early enough, or the service in, but he really needs to come alive, to Seb.
Fraser, long throw, repelled again by Gudger at the back, but now only to McClurg, and McClurg to Parsons on halfway, and Towers was coming through quickly and strongly, and so a hurried crossfield ball now, which Rugby will try and capitalise on as they break away with the ball, and it's down to the left with Marston, but Hollis and Marston are up against one another, and now Marston breaking towards the edge of the box, cuts it back. There's plenty of players lining up, but well blocked by Parsons, who blocked from Kolodinsky, who looked like he was going to pull the trigger.
Most dangerous moment of the game, I think, for Rugby. Justin Marsden, it's an absolutely fantastic run. He's battled, got to the byline, pulled it back,
and a quick short corner taken on the far side, and it looks like Kolodinsky's running over his own legs. Oh, sorry, is that Fox down the far side? Looked like a bad tackle there. I'd say that's by Warren Harris, and the Rugby fans behind the goal are chanting for a card. And are they going to get what they want? I think they might well do. I think Harris is going to go into the notebook here.
Yeah, and I think it's deserved. I think Kolodinsky, has faced him up there. Is it Harris, John?
Yeah, I think it is Harris.
Yeah, he's faced him up.
Harris on the far side. Yeah.
There's no need for that tackle. I think he did just sort of jockeyed him and shown him the line, really. But I think it's a rash challenge.
Actually,
and danger.
I think it might be Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer, the rather feisty, hot-headed number 7, lives up to his probably nickname of. He's probably like the Danny Dyer of the Slough team, only a lot more trouble.
They could rue that. It was a rash challenge, and it's a dangerous area now.
As the ball again with Cooper within the first 7 minutes or so, and then 10 minutes in the second half, his other striking partner goes into the book, and so no bookings as yet for for Rugby, but it hasn't really been that sort of a game, has there? There hasn't been too many nice attacks. I think
as
players tire and as there's a bit more stress and pressure, it may come a little bit. But once again,
you can see now from where we're looking, you can throw a blanket over both these sides. Both teams are squeezing really, really high. Yeah. There's no space out there at all.
No, obviously both management teams are now there, and Towers was leaning on Dyer there, but not enough for the referee to award a free kick. And now Parsons heads the ball back and Towers heads it on. Kolodinsky flicks it out of play. Not quite coming off tonight as yet. I think the players will start to feel the tension, particularly in front of this big crowd.
To me, what are we? 10 minutes into the second half, about something like that, John. It looks like there's a lot of frustrated players out there that are just sort of snatching at things and they're not really relaxing. And as the game gets, older and older and older, you've really got to relax.
Yep, as there's got to be some heroes, but there's also maybe some villains out there. As the ball's bouncing around in midfield and King rather fortuitously off McClurg's back, passes it through, and Fox now has an opportunity to run up against Harris. Great battle that's been all night, and Harris then coming back to defend for once, clips the ball off Fox and will have a Slough throw down in the far corner. There's great individual battles all over the pitch.
Fox didn't really get into Slough's half in the first half, and the first 10 minutes of the second half he's been non-stop up and down the left-hand side of that Dave Stringer, the manager, said you've got to progress a bit more, you've got to get up and down the pitch a bit more, but he's causing a bit of trouble down that right-hand side for Slough.
Yeah, Rugby is certainly the brighter in this first 10 minutes, and once again the ball's out left, I think, with Marston flicking the ball around, looking to cut back inside to cross the ball, but well blocked there, I think, again by Hollis, but the ball will fall to him again, down in that far left-hand corner. King acres of space on the edge of the box, screaming for it. Ball delivered in, headed away by Short in the first instance, but it's only going to fall as far as Blythe, who should have taken control of it, but just headed it up in the air. Now Short comes out with a second header. Slough trying to press out a little bit, calling the line up to not allow Rugby too much space in behind, and the ball's now gone long, like Gaskin down in the far corner, in a battle up against Fraser, but wins the ball, pass it inside to Marston. Marston now dummying and stepping over a number of times with Gaskin outside him. Lake Gaskin now with the ball up against Fraser, trying to cut inside, but cuts around the back of him, drives into the box, seemed to lose the ball, and it's a goal kick to Slough.
Well, that's better from Gaskin. He's asking the question of the right back there, and Justin Marsden's getting a lot of ball over there, and I think the right back's having a bit of a torrid time at the moment. Is Fraser? I think they might need to get the wide right boy to drop in and just help him out and double up, I think, for the next 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. So what was a strength in the first half? I think for the Rebels, I think they've obviously taken action, quite severe action, and at the moment it seems to have gone completely the other way.
Absolutely.
And so now the ball's bobbling around in the Rugby half as Dobson on the ball up against Miles. Tries to cross the ball in, but well marshalled there by Dobson. Another battle over there, which I think Miles is probably coming out on top at the moment. Dobson hasn't been too effective.
As we said, the boys are getting a lot more of the ball now.
Yep, and Parsons takes the throw from Dobson and now is in that left corner, but underhits the pass a little bit and now tries to drag Miles down, but Miles will have the opportunity to drive forward towards the edge of his own half. Now passes out left to King, and now King with Harris in pursuit. Harris making yards on him all the time, but lays the ball off well to Lake Gaskin, who's come out to the left-hand side to pick the ball up. Passed it to Blythe. Good football here from Rugby. Rugby now, Blythe passes the ball to Lake Gaskin. Lake Gaskin tries to flick it through to Blythe, but Woos needs to be aware of it, and Woosley clears it, but only as far as Ellis, and Ellis now has the ball, but has it still on the edge, towards the edge of the box. Pass it across to Lake Gaskin. Slough penned into their own 18-yard box at the moment. Good over. Lake Gaskin, unfortunately, not having his best game so far, loses the ball out, and now it's back in the Rugby half, and an unfriendly clearance there across the field by Grudger, and the keeper won't be able to pick it up, but volleys it high in the air, and immediately Slough are almost up on the halfway line and headed back in by Dobson, and now McClurg has the opportunity, tries to flick the ball through to Dyer. Smith doesn't read it, and now Blythe will have the opportunity on halfway line to pick a pass, passes it to Towers, literally on halfway, with Parsons up against him, tries to go down the line with him and tries to beat him for pace, but Parsons does really well and wins, and then seems to almost get a foul, but back to Dobson, and Dobson now plays the aerial ball down. Slough under the pressure here, and the ball bouncing around him. Miles does well, heads the ball back to Cooper, and just allows to take a little bit of pace.
Mills, the game just stepped up the pace the last
I think
5
so.
or 6 minutes.
I think so. I think that's down to Rugby. I think Rugby have come out firing and
lifted the tempo.
Yeah, they've lifted their tempo, and Slough as yet haven't quite responded. Down in the far corner, Kolodinsky and Woosley, and the referee's not doing anything. Kolodinsky very frustrated, Woosley arms out appealing, but Kolodinsky was on the floor, and the referee is really letting things flow at the moment here, isn't he? Which is quite good, because in a lot of non-league games that they're sometimes a bit pernickety.
Yeah, definitely. I think the game at the moment, I think the first half was the game of McClurg and Short in the middle of the park, and I think now Aaron King and Blythe are starting to get the game by the scruff of the neck, and they're really starting to dominate the midfield too.
And once again, Lake Gaskin doesn't do his performance so far.
He just looks frustrated.
He just
John,
put the ball
tonight.
straight out of play there under no pressure.
Yeah, he looks frustrated tonight. I mean, I've seen him have some fantastic games, and I really like him. He's a very, very good player. Tonight, it's just not. It's one of them games. It just doesn't look like it's happening for him, and he's getting more and more frustrated.
But I'm sure if he gets on the end of one in the 89th minute, all will be forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
As the ball's midway inside the Rugby half on the left, Rugby shooting left to right in their sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Throw the ball up to halfway, and Rugby have started to attack a little bit more in this. And Kolodinsky's after Woosley, who passes the ball to Somerville, and it bobbled just in front of him, and he sliced it out for a throw to Rugby.
Collector's item there from the Slough keeper.
Yeah, I think it did just bobble in front of him, but I think he did well to at least get something on it, because you want it out of play if you're going to slice it. If anything, you don't want it spinning
Definitely
back.
out of harm's way there.
Yeah, as the ball's once again given away by Rugby a little bit cheaply there, and Ed Smith up on halfway leaves the ball off to Harris, and Harris is now having a run, but well cut out there by Fox
Gaskin.
again.
Here we go.
And Gaskin's driving into the left edge of the box, seemed to lose his foot in a bit, but won the corner off Hollis, and Rugby are going to try and make this pressure count. They haven't conceded many goals, but they've scored an awful lot of goals at home recently. And
that's better from Seb Lake Gaskin.
Yeah.
Great run down into the channel. I think he's having a bit of a pop at his teammates there. It looked to me like there was only one player even making an effort and an attempt to get into the box, but there's trouble here. There's a 2-on-1.
As the corner's taken quickly, but it's cleared easily by Slough. But now it'll only fall to Marsden up towards the halfway line. Will he take a shot? He's run past two. He's at the left-hand edge of the box. Pulls the trigger left. It only hits Gaskin, and now Gudge has a go, but Dobson now has the opportunity and tries to play the ball to Ed Smith's feet on halfway. It could be 2-on-2 if they make their move right, as Ed Smith just completely loses his plot a little bit and runs the ball. And now it's Towers up against Dobson, and Towers uses his physical strength and prowess of a male model and holds him off well, and clips the ball up to halfway line. And now Hollis heads the ball. It's much more kind of 50-50 in terms of the battles out there of the 50-50s.
Absolutely, it's man for man. You can just see it's man for man. It's Blythe and McClurg, and it's King and the big man Short.
Yeah, the short man big. As the key. A kick from Somerville once again finds its target of Johnny Dyer recently, but let's see if he can do something a little bit more positive here for Slough. And then looked like he a foot left in there by Rugby on Fraser. The bench certainly appealed over there, and they got their wish. There's a free kick to Slough, 2 yards inside the Rugby half on the far right, and they'll look to get this ball in the box, I think.
I think the players are just looking for a bit of respite at the moment, John. It's been frenetic. It's been end-to-end the last 5 or 6 minutes, and I can't see this ending scoreless.
No, we've played almost 20 minutes of the second half here at Butlin Road. Remains goalless. Still no other score updates from the game between Daventry and Kettering. Kettering still lead 1-0. Apparently they're making a few changes. And so apparently Kettering have a storm to see off, according to Twitter, as the ball comes in from Parsons. Woosley's underneath it. It's fallen for Smith in the box. Smith strikes the ball home, and that's the first goal of the game to Ed Smith. Rugby fans will be arguing whether he should have been on the pitch after that earlier incident, but that was a soft goal. Possibly,
but it's just I think it's just miscommunication at the heart of the defence between Haynes and Gudger. It's just a hopeful ball in. I don't know whether Gudger's called for it or Haynes has called for it. It's just a mix-up. And then the ball's broke, and then Smith has just got basically just an easy finish to put it underneath Cooper, and it's 1-0. And you've got to say, I would say against the run of play.
Yeah, so Ed Smith continues his great scoring form here at Butlin Road. He scored 4 goals here in the all 4 goals in the game in September, and he's continued that form by grabbing the first goal of the game. And I can't believe it, but the local PA has done a fix, and he's won the golden goal. So he's going to be buying us a beer if this goes to extra time. As it will now be interesting to see how Rugby react that.
It will be interesting now to see how Slough set up, because they look like they've soaked a lot of pressure up from Rugby in the first 10 minutes, and then Rugby really now have got to try and get something. I think they might have to change something.
Yeah, so just to take you through that goal again, there was a free kick on the halfway line, which Ryan Parsons clipped in towards the edge of the dip box. Woosley got up, and the ball ricocheted off him down to Ed Smith, who was probably 14-15 yards out on the right hand side. The ball was bouncing around. He didn't have the cleanest of strikes, but he stuck it down on the ground. It bobbled into the left hand corner as we look at it, and Slough took a lead slightly against the run of play in this second half.
I'm not sure whether the two Rugby centre halves actually got in a bit of a mix up. I don't know whether there's any lack of communication or what, but then one went up, and I think the other one went up as well. I think the ball ricocheted, and of course it's an easy finish for a prolific scorer like Smith.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll be very happy because he's going to miss out if Slough progress to the final, wherever that will be. It will be another away day for Slough, but he will miss out. So I think he feels that he needs to motivate himself to actually be cause after he did get sent off in the reverse fixture at Slough 2 weeks ago, and now he's once again involved as he tries to flick on the ball to Johnny Dyer, but Fox is underneath it, and Rugby just seem to have lost a little bit of that pace and passion that they had in the last 10 minutes or so. I think that goal slightly stung them as Miles now comes down the right, but a longer ball, and Parsons happy with that all day. Be interesting to see if Slough react as now Dobson set free, running down the right with plenty of time. There's not many players in the box, but he'll drive in a low cross too close to the Cooper, and Johnny Dyer needs to watch himself. He kind of left the left leg hanging out. So we've had about 21 minutes of the second half, and Kolodinsky's fighting down in that far corner.
Great defender,
and it's hit the corner flag, and it's still in, and the Rugby fans are really unhappy.
No need.
And Hollis seemed to go into the back of Kolodinsky, and Kolodinsky risks losing the plot here a little bit. It seems to be a bit feisty and pushing people off the ball over there. I think it's all a bit unnecessary.
Yeah,
It's Mr. Lawn.
Just silly. It started, it's a fracas out of nothing really. I mean, I think it was Fraser again. He didn't need to commit the foul, and Kolodinsky's reacted probably like he shouldn't have done. But again, you've got to. It's just another rash challenge, and I don't know how long Slough can keep giving away these free kicks in these dangerous areas, John. No,
it's left. It's almost as good as a corner, right in that far corner with Fox delivering left-footed towards the back post. Headed away by Johnny Dyer, headed back in by Gudger, headed away again by Short, but King will hook the ball back in. But now Slough might have the opportunity to attack if they show a little bit of composure. Then I can hear just off mic that Liam's saying whoever scores next is going to win this game, and I quite agree.
Yeah, I think so.
As Haynes just gets ahead of Warren Harris to head the ball back to Cooper, and Cooper's launched a long throw out left to the Rugby player who controls it very well under a lot of pressure there. But now Rugby, this game's hugely opened up in the last 5 minutes or so as they come striding forward, but Dobbs, no nonsense, comes across and clears it into the stand. But Rugby once again are camped in Slough's half.
I think it's about time that the Rugby manager might be thinking of, or the Rugby manager and his staff might be thinking about making a change. I think because we're halfway through the second half now, and there's a couple of players out there that really have been ineffective. Again, there you say, John, another rash challenge, and it's another dangerous area. And that this time, I think that was Warren Harris, not to be mistaken. This time for Johnny Dyer, and he just cynically put out a leg. But again, a dangerous position for a free kick, and Rugby take it short and quickly. And Lake Gaskin's on the ball on the far side, and now passes it across. And now I think it will be Fox to drive the ball across, and Somerville keeps it, and it's a goal kick. Final ball again, very poor into the box there. Final ball. They're getting in some good areas, Rugby, but they're just letting themselves down with the final balls in the box again. And
I think we might get stiff necks for the rest of this half, because having watched Slough a number of times this season, when they do go up against some of the top teams, they do tend to shut up shop completely and just hit them on the break. So, as you say, I think there will be more goals in this game.
To me, it looks like that's the way they're set up to play. It looks like the way they're built to play, with the two boys in the middle of midfield. I'm sure they're clever enough and experienced enough just to sit now and not break the midfield lines. No. Because obviously Rugby are going to put more and more men forward into their half.
As Rugby seem to be winning this midfield battle, but just as I say that, McClure comes away with the ball over halfway. Short pass to Dobson. Dobson tricking in and out of a couple of players, and now then leaves his foot in a little bit. But it's getting feisty out there. The tensions just rise since the goals started, and now Harris down in the right position, up against Fox as ever, and Fox this time does well, blocks the ball. And it will be a throw-in to Slough on the far side. The PA near me thinks that it won't end, as I often think, without 22 players on the pitch. I could well see perhaps Slough going down to 10 men. As an attempted cross goes out, blocked again, I think it's by Fox on the far side, and Slough will have a corner. It'll be interesting to see if they send the big guys forward now.
It's got to be time for a change for me, I think, for Rugby. I think they need to have a look at it. We've got, 20 minutes of the game to go? Yep. Something like that.
Yep.
I think in the next 2 or 3 minutes, if they can defend this set piece, I think we need to be looking at a change and try and put either a couple of changes, just become a bit more fresh, because there's 2 or 3 players that really have been ineffective for Rugby, especially going further towards that end of the pitch, the attacking end of the pitch.
And an in-swing corner from Dobson, well met by Dyer. It's a second goal for Slough, and that could be a killer blow for Rugby's ambitions. He was completely unmarked at the near post, and a great header, a well-worked plan there by Slough, and Cooper's banging his arms in frustration. The Slough players congregate in a huddle over the far side, and Rugby falls silent.
Again, another ball into the box. It's a ball. It's just a simple corner, near post corner, and the boys just got a near post flick, and it's gone right across the face of Niall Cooper. And Niall Cooper seems to me like he's going mad here. It's just poor marking. It's just poor marking. It's schoolboy marking from a set piece. Hey, it's just a terrible goal to concede for Rugby at this stage.
Yeah, and that could really be a killer blow. And hopefully Johnny Dyer didn't over-celebrate that, or he might be finding himself off to an early bath, because both the Slough booked forwards have now both continued their goal-scoring form as we go into the final kind of 20 minutes or so here at Butlin Road. Rugby trail 2-0, Slough 2 goals in 5 minutes. Have they put paid to Rugby's chances? Rugby did very similar to Slough. They scored 2 goals in 5 minutes at Holloway's Park 2 weeks ago to do enough to secure that victory 2-1 after a McClurg wonder goal. But Rugby are now going to be tested.
Things they've got to make a change now. They're too rigid in this 4-4-2. They've got to just caution to the wind and chuck another one up there and go with a 4-3-3, or just mix it up a bit and get some fresh legs on, because nothing's happening at the moment. They've got to make a change.
And there's a Rugby player down on the far side from that challenge. Is it Fox, you think? Yeah, Fox, not Kolodinsky. Okay. There's a player down on the far side, Fox. And for the first time, we have actually seen Rugby players out warming up, which surprises me this late. You'd think they'd want to get them warmed up a little bit earlier than that. And okay, Guy Hadland getting warmed up. Is that?
Looks like Hadland. Is it Hadland having a stretch, or is it Hadland or Piggin having a stretch? But I mean, fortunately, I think there is an injury. I think it's Fox over there that looks like he's struggling, and it gives the players an opportunity to get a quick drink and have a quick chat with the gaffer over there. And he must be pulling his hair out, because talk about scoring at important times of games, and Rugby are really on top. Before Slough got the first one, looked like progressing and give away a few dangerous free kicks, Slough, before they score the second goal, and then that was just a killer, an absolute killer. But again, poor defending from the set piece, very, very poor defending.
Yeah, so apparently Ian Moore is saying Stringer needs to bring on the pig. Who's the pig?
Mitchell Piggin.
Mitch Piggin.
Mitchell Piggin.
So that's the view.
So it'll be big, strong, tough striker. Big, strong striker. He's always a danger, Mitchell. Always a danger. But I need to get him on sharpish. If it was me, I'd be bringing, I think, the lad Casaboni on. I think would go 4-3-3 and sacrifice either one of your central boys or take off maybe Jamie Towers, who's not really done a great deal in his second half for his ability. But
the ball's down in the Rugby half where Slough want to play with it at the moment, with Ed Smith, and now short with a short ball to Fraser, and Fraser inside to McClurg. And McClurg looking fast stick towards Dobson. Dobson first time volley. Inaccurate, but great movement to get in there, and now a lot of pace there from Cooper to set Towers straight on his way up on the right, and he's running with speed at Parsons over halfway, and Parsons does well, but Towers still driving down to the right hand side. Low cross in. George Short will flick that with the outside of his boot up the pitch, and I think the Slough forwards are running out a bit of pace. They could probably do with a change.
They look like they could do a change as well. I think 2-0 up, they need to make a change as well. The lad Smith, he looks like he's ran himself into the ground, to be honest with you. But I think Rugby need to do it pretty sharpish. Get Casaboni on, I think, for me. Try and change the game.
Yeah, I think they might run Smith into the ground on the basis that they don't know he's definitely not going to be available on Monday. And if they do play on Monday, then he can run himself to the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Dyer off as Lake Gaskin drives towards the edge of the Slough box. It's falling now to King, and King low driven shot. Somerville falls to his right-hand side, holds the ball well, and Kolodinsky there just to give him a little bit of a word of advice, perhaps how to keep a little bit better or something like that, as these gentlemen do. Not for younger ears, obviously, but at
the target, there is a possibility. 2-0 is always a dangerous scoreline, as you well know, and I think that they've just got to try and get this change done quickly, pretty sharpish, and then try and just regain a bit more impetus.
And you can see movement on the Rugby bench as the ball's down out on the far right-hand side, and the rugby bench does look like it's about to make a couple of changes. The boards are coming out, so if you can keep an eye on those for me, and we'll just keep who's going on and who's coming off. As play continues, though, down in front of her, down on the far side, as Warren Harris with Fox in attendance in the far right-hand corner, and the ball is out again for a throw for Slough. Are they going to make a change? I wouldn't have thought they'd make it a defensive point here, but Slough aren't in any hurry to take this goal kick. Just slowing it down a little bit over there.
I wouldn't be making a change defending a throw-in in that area of the pitch. I know that.
And Mr. Law just makes Fraser hurry up with the throw as Johnny Dyer turns inside to McClurg, taking off his toe as he was about to pull the trigger, and now it falls to Dobson, who likes a shot from pretty much anywhere. So he's bouncing around on the edge of the box. And now King up against Fraser, and King goes in very strongly, but Fraser does well and wins it. Now pass it back out to Harris again, and have the opportunity to drive round the players, and Fox this time wins the battle, does well, but I think it's a corner. And is Harris injured from that? No, he's rolled around, and still no sign of the substitutes just as yet, as Slough continue to press.
I'm sure there'll be no rush in taking this corner either, as far as Slough's concerned. Again, you know, while that ball's down in that end of the pitch, you know, there's going to be no problem for Slough. Rugby need to clear this corner, and let's see how they defend it, because the last 2 dead balls into the box have been poor, very poor.
And interestingly, still sending the big guys forward. They're still sending Short and Hollis, Short and Woosley forward.
Woosley.
And they're all battling around. Is it the same again? No, this time Fox is wise to it. Comes to the near post, wins the header, and McClurg up against King wins it. And now it's back out on the right corner with Dobson. Dobson plays it against Fox, and it ricochets back. McClurg's the first to react, to keep it under possession. Plays it off the Rugby player, flicked on by Dobson. Now with Ed Smith, edge of the box, flicks it to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer's in. He pulls the trigger. Back across goal. There's a player on the far side. It is the third for Slough. Warren Harris seals. You would think Slough's place in the final. And
Game over.
We have played
14 minutes to go. Game over. 75th minute. You know, again, couldn't clear it from the dead ball, and it's a cross-come shot across the far post. Rugby switched off again, couldn't clear the lines, and the lads just side-footed it in underneath Cooper. That's good night, and that looks like a playoff final for Slough.
Yeah, and the Slough fans may be small in number, 7-12.
I called that, didn't I? I called that substitution 5 minutes ago.
You did call that substitution.
It's just a shame they couldn't have made that substitution when they were 1-0 down.
Yeah, so yes, Casaboni is coming on for Towers.
Jamie Towers.
Yeah, so Jamie Towers has gone. And the Slough fans near us are very excited by that, and I think it will make the journey a bit sweeter.
Absolutely. I mean, again, all the goals have come from set pieces, John. You know, there's the ball into the box. They haven't been able to defend a ball into the box tonight. Well, second half, especially Rugby. It's disappointing because they started the second half so brightly. You know, and within 25 minutes, they find themselves 3-0 down. And that's a sloppy ball from Kolodinsky. You know, you can just see they've gone.
Their heads have gone. And on one of the message boards, they say, "I hope Liam's good at predictions." After you said the next goal will probably go on and win it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Well, I'm obviously being involved in football. You're not allowed to make any predictions or lay any bets. So I haven't had a bet. Don't worry about that.
Not as of next season. No betting at all.
Not at all.
Do you like a little flutter now and again?
I do, yeah, but it'll have to be on the grounds next year, not the football.
That's a shame. As Rugby desperately need to get back into this game with a goal in the next 5 minutes, as Casaboni gets his first few touches of the ball, but George Short, who's lasted well for this game, flicks it off to Warren Harris, the recent goal scorer, who's got more legs now after that goal's lifted him, to Ed Smith towards the corner now, up against Fox in the far right hand side, and Ed Smith just wins the corner, and once again that could prove dangerous for Rugby. It's all gone very quiet here at Butlin Road, apart from that far end to the left.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame. It's going to be heartbreak again for the second season on the trot. You know, where this leaves the group, where this leaves the manager, where it leaves the staff, you don't know. I mean, will they be able to bounce back again next year from this? It's just it's a terrible shame. I mean, I'm a Rugby lad. It's a terrible shame for the town because, you know, this ground and the club deserve to play in a higher league. But it's just, again, it's not their year again, unfortunately.
No, it would seem that way as on the far side, the ball's coming in, driving in, and Cooper does well to hold this ball, and he's rushing towards the edge of his box and just has a little push against Woosley. He's having a bit of afters there because he tried to block him off, and the locals are a little bit unhappy about that, but McClurg once again seems to find the ball like a magnet, pass it out to Parsons, and Slough are just doing the simple things well, and Haynes with a diving header. McClurg now up against King, and McClurg just has a kick out at King, and that should be a free kick. It is, but Slough, I think, are just quite happy to probably break the game up a little bit. Yeah,
they don't want any flow to this game now at all. You know, they just break the game up and slow the game right
down.
Second
substitution, off comes Alex King, and on comes 15 Mitch Piggin. So the Pig has come on.
Being replaced by the Pig, Mitchell Piggin.
Yeah, so they'll go narrow. They'll get Casaboni will play in there, possibly with Blythe and Marsden, and obviously Piggin will go straight down the middle with Seb Hamilton and Seb Hamilton, ex-rugby player, Seb Lake Gaskin and Kolodinsky along either side of him.
As predicted a few minutes ago, Johnny Dyer's having a breather here, and it'll be interesting that they're replacing him with which number?
18.
There isn't an 18.
There we go.
Oh. Hang on, and is that another rugby sub, or is that the same
that's
rugby
Piggin. That's
Piggin coming on, but who's coming on? Let me tell you. Oh, that's I can tell you who. That's Adam Cornell. It's Adam Cornell, the striker coming on. It must be 17. Sorry. Apologies, there's a little bit of confusion. It's a long way, it's misty, but I can't... Did they hold up 18 rather than 17? We'll have to wait until he turns around to see what number he's actually wearing. Yeah, probably. He's. We've got to just wait till he turns his back to see, but he's actually gone out wide right, so it may be that Slough have changed now to a 4-5-1, because it looks like they're quite happy to shut up shop now, and
top,
as the ball's played down right, and Kolodinsky has an opportunity to get a cross in, but it's gone out for a goal kick. Sums up Rugby's
it does.
night,
it sums
really.
up their second half, especially. It's just gone so flat for them in the second half after starting so brightly. But as we said this already tonight. You can't defend at set plays like that, and it's it's cost them.
Yeah, we did mention that in the first half, that Slough would probably need to make the most of some of those set pieces. Rugby didn't when they had a great period of pressure for the first 10 minutes of the second half.
How many times have you heard the old cliche, you must score when you're on top? You have to score when you're on top, and unfortunately, the Valley haven't done that.
So we are in the final 10 minutes here, and Slough are on top as far as the score sheet goes, as Grudger and Cornell get their first interactions with each other as they meet one another. Short now takes a touch off to Harris on centre field. Slough just trying to keep the ball a little bit, just trying to calm the things down. Short probably had one of his best games in the Slough shirt, out right towards Harris, but it's overhit. Fox will now have a throw in, and Rugby need to get a goal in the next few minutes to have any chance of pulling this back.
I think for me, the second half, I think the difference has been the 11, Dobson. I think he's really come into the game. I think he's been a real danger. It's been very interesting watching him. He was quite quiet and ineffective the first half, but he's really came into the game.
Rugby are now attacking down the right, with Miles midway inside the Slough half, looking to cross the ball in deep towards the far post, headed back across by the Pig, and then falls to the edge of the box, and a driven volley, threatening only the stand and the fans behind, and sums up Rugby's night. Contact us at MyFC's Rebel Radio. I've just had an interesting question in. If Stringer goes, would Liam O'Neill apply?
Sorry, say that again, John.
If Stringer goes, by that I mean if he leaves or if he's sacked, would a certain person also commentating this evening perhaps be interested?
No, definitely not. No, I've got a fantastic job at Leamington, and it's a work in progress still. I mean,
okay. I've turned the mics off now. What would you say?
Same again. No, we've got a job to do. We've had a great debut Conference North season, and we've got a lot more work to do, and obviously a lot more games to win next season.
As there's no hurry to get another ball here, as unfortunately the ball's out of play, out the ground, and I think on the railway. Is it a railway behind us?
Yeah, behind us is a railway line.
Behind us is a railway, so it might be
train to London.
Might be on a train to London, which plenty of the Slough fans will be, probably after a few drinks later in a few rugby establishments, as the ball's bouncing around. The game kind of really fizzling out, I suppose, as an audacious flick by Harris. By Smith almost has the sub Cornell away, who is wearing the 18 jersey. You were quite correct. 18 not on our team sheet, but he is wearing 18 shirt, and the ball's bouncing around in midfield. And now Casaboni has the opportunity with Fox overlapping down the left hand side, but Fox looks to have done a little bit too much, but keeps the ball in. Fraser has a horrible slice, and then headed back by Rugby, but the game's just. Ball's just bobbling around, and on the halfway line, Smith having a little bit of a battle there, but Gudger comes away with the ball. Simple pass out to Miles out on halfway line. Rugby need to drive forward and press.
You can just see Slough's game plan now. They've just stuck 5 in there. They've got a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and they just don't want to concede now. And you can't really see Rugby scoring.
As Mitch Piggin in the far left-hand corner, as I see it, now out to Casboni. Casboni back to Fox. Fox now to Casboni on the far left-hand corner, marshalled there by Fraser. And Fraser, but Casboni gets around him. Left ball cut back into the box, dived in there by Hollis, but well cleared on a second attempt by Woosley, but only as far as Casboni. I think that's Casboni, not like Gaskin. No, like Gaskin's still in the middle of the box, and blocked this time by Fraser, and it's out for a Rugby throw. And they're slowing it down again as there's a second sub. George Short now making way, I would think, for Ben Edwards, would be my guess.
Done well, Short.
Yes, Short comes off, gets a really favourable response, and Ben Edwards is the man replacing him. And I think you'd want quite an old, experienced head, and that's what Ben is in these shows. Short is not making. I'm
sure he'll be taking his time to get over to the dugout over there.
Yeah, he's getting a good reception there from the Slough fans, who look perhaps tiny compared to all these other rugby fans in this ground, but
rightly so. I think he dominated the first half, and he's done ever so well. He's really broke the play up, and he's done a fantastic job for his team tonight, Short.
As we go into the final played in the far left-hand corner, and Rugby have won a corner down there, which it looks like Fox is rushing to quickly get and take, as Slough put lots of players back in the box, and literally at this stage, wouldn't you be chucking everyone forward? You might as well lose 4-0, mightn't you?
Well, you may as well, but I still wouldn't leave a one-on-one at the back there. I think because if they break and
bobbling around in the box for Slough, but well cleared there by Hollis, and it's out as far as Fox on the near side, inside to Marsden. Marsden right-footed, chips it towards the far stick with Ben Edwards, the fresh substitute, underneath it. And the ball's now hooked clear there by Parsons with his right foot, and it is one-on-one at the back, but the captain, Ellis Miles does well up against Smith, and it's now on the far side with Casboni back to Fox. Fox inside, but not to a Rugby player in particular, and cleared by Fraser up to the halfway line.
I think that ball in there from Richard Blythe, not just that it's Richard Blythe with a poor ball, I think it just sums Rugby's second half up, really. Everything is just under hit or misplaced, and it's just not worked for them. And
then a long cross from Pig, but there was no one in there at all. Somerville falls gratefully on it, and we are literally in the last 3 or 4 minutes. There's not going to be an awful lot of injury time here. That's one thing about this game. There hasn't been the trainer on very much at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's been played in a good spirit as well.
Very good spirit, and I'm sure that Rugby now, obviously, the game he's quickly going away from them.
Summed up there by a poor header, unfortunately, by Haynes out, and now Slough are not going to be in any hurry, but they're going to use this pitch position, and Parsons is almost doing kind of like a dancing jog to get forward there, to look like he's trying to run, but he's actually not.
I'm just looking over there, John, at some of the Valley, the body language. It just seems to me they don't want to be on there. They really don't want to be on there. Just want that whistle to go, get off the pitch, and get on their summer holidays. It's just a shame for them and a shame for their team. But they're going to have to go again and pick themselves up next season. And
it was sad because an hour ago it looked so different, and it could have been so different.
He's going to win this game. It was it's still that tight.
As Rugby still attacking though, but Hollis makes no bones about putting that safe down into the Rugby football on the halfway line with Marsden. Marsden clips the ball up the line.
Great ball.
For Pig, flicks it back then to Parsons, and Parsons drives it in our general direction. That's the
and a half to go anyway, but it's the game's over. The game's over. They just need to get the ball.
Losing in the playoffs once again for the second year, this time not even making the final.
It seems to me like Slough just, especially here at Butlin Road, that's the last 3 times Slough have been here, and they've scored 3 and 2, I think 2 threes and a 4 without reply.
Yeah.
It's one of those lucky grounds for Slough.
As the ball's bouncing around in the area and well hooked away by Hollis, and now Hollis up against Hollis, clicks it. Gudger gets really underneath it. That wasn't the greatest touch, and now he's under a bit of pressure from Smith, who would do well to not get involved because he doesn't want to extend his ban even further. He just bounces around in there. But Rugby attacking to the end. A consolation may be deserved, but Fraser clears the ball out. It's still on the edge of the Slough box, and touched by Dobson, but Miles is now coming again with the ball. 20 yards outside the Slough box. Now it's with Casboni, who tries to chip, an audacious chip, and
can't knock him for that. I mean, for me, the vast improvement has been when they brought Piggin on. I mean, Piggin's caused a problem, up there. He's been a figurehead to hit, and I think they, maybe looking back, they might rue the fact that they didn't bring the big lad on earlier than this.
Yeah, and we're literally going into almost added time here. We'll hopefully keep an eye on what that is, but at the moment it looks like Slough will be travelling to Latimer Park, to Kettering. That'll be an awesome atmosphere in front of probably 1,500 people on Bank Holiday Monday. Get yourselves down there if you're a non-league football fan, as we're playing out the final rights here as Ben Edwards wins the header in midfield, and Warren Harris now up against the substitute Casboni, heads it in the direction, and there's 4 minutes of injury time. The assistant, I'm not sure quite where he's got that from, probably all the substitutes.
All the substitutions, John, I think.
But there's a throw in to Rugby, which Fox will take midway inside his own half, and some of the fans are starting to make their way. The bank behind the goal of Somerville to our right, where Rugby attacking, certainly a lot more sparse than it was 15 minutes ago or so.
Absolutely, it's such a shame. Obviously, being a Rugby lad, it's the second year on the trot. I mean, they went one further last year, losing in the final, but it's just a shame that they've had to come and go out in this manner again. That's playoff football for you.
And a slice pass there by the centre back, unfortunately put his captain in a little bit of trouble there. Sorry, Haynes and Miles not really combining there, but now Gudger on the far left will have one final opportunity, you think, to get the ball forward. We've played 46 minutes here at Butlin Road. It remains Rugby 0, Slough 3. Slough heading for their playoff final this year, it would seem, as Rugby try and get at least a consolation at the end of the game, which they're looking to do as they're passing the ball around on the edge of the box, flicking it well, but Slough still defending resolutely, with Ben Edwards, the substitute, just getting in there, but Blythe still knocking the ball around, but it's out to Gudger, and Gudger hits the ball long, and it wasn't with any accuracy at all, and now Slough pick up the ball, and they're just trying to play it in some space here as Dobson dawdles on that ball as Marston will have the opportunity to get this in the ball. Short pass to Miles. Miles now twists and turns on the edge of the box, should pull the trigger but doesn't. Takes an extra touch and loses possession of the ball.
That's been the story of the night, John, I think, in the final third for Rugby. Never making the right decision.
Long ball hits Kolodinsky on the back of the head. That sums it up. And a low ball driven wide of Somerville's right post, and that's probably one of the clearest chances this half.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably could have done better there, Greg, but you just look at the body language of the Rugby players now. You know, they know it's all over, and again, it's going to be a long old summer for them. You know, trying to get this out of their system. They've just got to come back refreshed for next season, and hopefully the group stay together and they give it another go next season. And
the final substitution, James Dobson's coming off. Jake Parsons is coming on for Slough, just to run down the clock a little bit more as we played 47 minutes here at Butlin Road. I think it's been an entertaining match, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I'm pleased for the boy that's just gone off over there, the lad Dobson. I think he's been excellent in the second half. I think he was at the fulcrum of everything that Slough tried to do in the second half, and he was a danger and a constant threat when he got on the ball. And you know, he's thoroughly deserves his plaudits from the travelling Slough fans.
Yeah. And I would say it's been a great contested game. It's a pity for Rugby they couldn't quite kind of convert one of their chances and make this a little bit more of a game. But as you say, that second goal really determined where it's gone.
Absolute killer. And Rugby, where they'll be disappointed, they'll probably look back at the goals if they see the goals, and they'll just think that, you know, they've led to their own downfall with just sloppy marking again.
As the ball's bouncing around in the Rugby half, and Slough have the ball in midfield, and Warren Harris, who's been one of the players of the match, is battling away against Fox. That's been a great battle all afternoon, and Fox gets the better of Harris and clears the ball up to Blythe. Blythe onwards, but Hollis again, who's been ever present, clears the ball high and mighty. Who would you say has been one of your man of the match for you?
For Rugby or for Slough, John?
For all.
I think you've got to say that,
who's been
judging on the hour that Short put in, I think Short was excellent. I think the big man at the back's been fantastic. The 5, Wosley, the skipper. But I like Dobson. He's a thick-set boy, but he's got great feet. I think they'd be the 3 sort of outstanding Slough players for myself.
And for Rugby?
I think Rugby, really, Gudger's been a tower of strength at the back for him, but you know, he can't do it on his own, and I feel sorry for likes of Gudger and Ellis Miles. You know, it's 2 years on the trot for them, and it's just such a shame, but you know, that's the way football goes, I'm afraid.
As Rugby have one final opportunity to drive the ball into the box, and it's very aerial towards the back post, and Gudger and Haynes look to be underneath it, but it's gone harmlessly out for a goal kick, and that should just be about that. We have played 4 minutes now of injury time. All eyes on Mr. Law. I must like to thank you, Liam. Thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure to commentate alongside you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been brilliant.
And thank you for coming down.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been brilliant.
And also, I'd like to thank all the Rugby fans and all the Rugby people here who've been very hospitable to us, and it's been a great thing as Mr. Law calls this game to an end. Slough progress through to the final. The players shake hands, the Slough fans celebrate, and I think this means an awful lot to them, judging by them. They don't get out much.
It's fantastic to see. I mean, it's just a shame there's got to be a loser, but it's great for the travelling. They'll have a great safe journey home, knowing that they've got a play-off, and it's going to be a great game at Kettering on Monday. It's just the Rugby end is absolutely empty. And
there seemed to just be a little bit of afters there between Cooper and Smith. I think that was perhaps from the challenge earlier. And did he go over to shake his hand, or? Oh, he went to punch him, did he? Oh, well, that's not the best thing, and that's not a wise thing to do in this. You don't want that to spoil or take away from what this is. Perhaps he may have been goading him because they're going down, obviously, in front of their fans, which were behind that goal where Cooper was. So it'd be just interesting to see that. We'll stay on air for a couple more minutes if we can.
Niall doesn't need to really get involved there. You know, he's. But that's the way it hurts him. I know Niall, he played for us at Leamington when we won the league last year, and I know that it hurts him and it affects him. He's obviously very, very gutted, but you know, he's no need to get involved there. But it's been a great advert. It's been a very, very high tempo. The quality at times in the game was left a little bit to be desired, but. On the long and the short of it, I mean, Slough really have come here. They've done a job. They soaked the pressure up as much as they could, and they've caught Rugby 3 times. And you've got to say that the defending for 3 of the goals were very, very, very poor, and all coming from set pieces. So no more than they deserved, really.
Yeah, if you asked me before the game, I couldn't see that result coming. I wouldn't have said it would have been a 3-goal game with a clear margin. And if it was, potentially it might have even been the other way, based upon recent form. And so the Slough players are just taking their plaudits from all their fans, and they're making their way off in a mass. We're just hanging on to see what that final score is at Kettering before we go off air this evening, so we can let you know where to go.
We did say before the game, about form and about Slough's recent form and Rugby's recent form, and Rugby are in form and Slough not particularly in form. we said before the game, didn't we? This is a cup game. It doesn't matter. Form goes out the window. You know, it's just a cup game. Anything can happen, and it proved to be the way tonight. You know, form went out the window, and you got to say you want the team that performs on the night to go and play in the final. At the end of the day, rugby. They'll look back at this season and they'll think to themselves, they should have had this league sewn up 4 or 5 weeks ago. You know, they were on such a great run of form, and Slough have got in on the back door. You know, I think they finished 5th, didn't they? You know, last game of the season.
Yeah.
And now they're going to the final, and like we said, does it matter? They're going to play what, Kettering? I think they're going to.
Yeah, I think that's what we're just hanging on to see. Apparently, into injury time of injury time, they're saying on the Kettering Twitter, and it looks like it will be a trip to Latimer Park, which will be again 2 kind of old sleeping giants, Slough and Kettering of non-league football.
Absolutely, it'll be a brilliant day, it'll be a brilliant atmosphere, and I'm sure there'll be 1,500, 2,000 in there, and it's going to be it'll be a great day for one of the teams, not so great for the other, but yeah, I'm sure you'll all look forward to it, you Slough fans.
Yeah, and good luck to you all wherever you are out there. I think we're going to sign off. We're going to take it as read. We're just still trying to wait for the tweets to come through. There's one more tweet. What's this tweet say? No, that's Mrs. Underwood. She's saying, what a team. Well done, boys. How happy.
Gaffer's wife?
Yeah, Gaffer's wife. Yeah. Gaffer's wife. The bald one's wife. Not the fat one's wife, the other one's wife. Just saying that she's happy with what's happened. We're just trying to say... They might hours of injury time at Kettering because they're into the injury time and there's still nothing going. We just need to try and find this out before we close the game. The ground, it's just empty immediately.
Absolutely empty.
The bar's quite a full area,
it's sad, you know. I mean, I've grown up here. I've been involved in this club a long time, and it's just sad to see. You know, it's another year that's passed rugby by again and promised so much and deliver.